number 4 NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series race from the Chicagoland Speedway, and we are live here from Joliet, Illinois. This is Chicagoland. As we welcome you in live to the broadcast booth, I'm, of course, your host, as always, Ethan Trendler, and tonight, for the first time ever, we are going to be joined by former Cup Series driver and two-time Southern 500 champion Aiden Donahue in the booth here tonight. But, of course, we head to Chicagoland tonight. It is race number 9 of season number 4. And we welcome you in live to the Chicagoland Speedway. All right, Aiden, this is Chicagoland here in the Cup Series. Last season, Braden Hunsaker went to victory lane here. He's coming off a win from St. Louis, which is, of course, his second of the year. What really do we hope to expect here at this mile-and-a-half racetrack?
Well, of course, the new next-gen update, the Dirty Air, is personally it's horrendous. So you're going to see a lot of people just honestly trying to stay in clean air, even deep in the pack. So you'll see, as long as you have like a headlight or a half a car width or something, you'll be able to have clean air. But mostly ripping the wall. We'll probably see some 3 wide racing, some great battling. Like you said, Braden won it last year. We'll see. I don't know. We got a lot of competitive people here tonight, so it's up for grabs.
Yeah, of course, this is, of course, the 9th race of season number 4. It's the 74th all-time NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series race, and we head to Chicagoland Speedway tonight. It is first mile-and-a-half and a bit. I believe also second, like, real non-Atlanta Superspeedway style mile-and-a-half of the year. So we are ready to go with some day racing, unlike last season, which was under the lights. Xfinity last night, unbelievable showing we had there, and what a drive by Jamie McKinney to go from 10th to 1st in 1 lap in that overtime restart to win from Chicagoland Speedway. Let's see what he can do tonight. He'll be making his second Cup start of the year.
Yeah, that was a wild race last night. I tuned into the last half of it, and man, that late race restart, you didn't know what was going on, but he emerged out front, and the pink Hello Kitty car won it and stole it from everybody. That was really cool to watch.
Yeah, of course, it was a battle with a lot of drivers on fresh tires through the bottom of the pack, middle, 2 tires to the middle, and then then no tires at all up at the front after that restart happened right after the caution during the long run. All right, cars are pulling on track here for the warm-up session in Chicagoland. We'll be live in about 30 seconds from the Chicagoland Speedway, ready for the season number 4 NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series race here tonight from Chicago. And this, of course, is the third, of course, mile-and-a-half of the year. Second, if you don't include Atlanta. All right, we are live in Chicagoland. Welcome to the warm-up session. Cars are on the racetrack. There is the 8 of Cameron Chandler. He has 1 win this season. He also won in this Chipotle paint scheme a couple of weeks ago at Bristol. That's his only win of the year. He finished 3rd here.
Definitely keep an eye on the 8 car tonight. He's very fast everywhere. I talked to him earlier. He said he was a little nervous tonight for the clean air and all that. So a lot of these guys are going to be searching for clean air tonight. The new update, of course, everyone's got on their toes. Everyone's on P's and Q's about clean air and stuff. You see Dylan Banks ripping the wall. That's going to be the qualifying line. Yeah, you just want to stay in clean air all night long.
Chandler top of the board so far. Of course, he finished 3rd here at Chicagoland in the Cup Series a season ago. He won the Xfinity race here, so we know he definitely has good history at the Chicagoland Speedway. There is Cole Clausen in the grass a bit. Here is the 9 of Bryce Benton. He's had such a solid season. Of course, unfortunately, the last 2 races haven't been the best for him at Gateway and then Darlington. Other than that, he's had a phenomenal year, and he's currently sitting top 3 in the point standings as he heads through 1 and 2. Looking back in the 72 of Connor Asbell. Of course, Aiden Donahue owns this car. Connor won at Fontana, and then he finished, I believe, top 10 at Gateway. Those are his only 2 finishes of the season. Every other finish this year was a DNF.
He's running. He's in the contention for it every race. He just, I don't know. It's rather bad luck or it's something. But No, I'm proud of him this season. I knew coming in he would do well. He was just scared about the next gen car, but um, he got that win at Fontana. He crossed everybody over and took it from everyone. That was awesome. I was glad I was there.
Car on the wall over the bumps. Jacob Malone goes into the fence and he will slide it back down. He made his first Xfinity start of the year. This will be his second Cup start of the season, right after the Daytona 500 he started. Oh, is there going to make contact? John Butler's on the wall with 21 of Carlos Ortiz. This is, I should say, Jacob Malone's first start with Ethan Trendler Racing in the Cup Series this season. That's the team he ran with last night in the Xfinity Series. Here is the 99, usually driven by Payson Lindsay. Of course, this week, after a suspension last night in the Xfinity Series for Payson Lindsay, 2-race suspension from his maneuvers there. It'll be Richard Cheery driving the 99, at least this week, maybe next week in Michigan, and possibly at the Charlotte 600, as well as Lindsay will head down, or I should say Cheery will head down the front straightaway.
Yeah, and I had a chat with him earlier this afternoon. He said he doesn't know much about the next gen, but he's excited to see if he can get a pole, and of course he won here pretty.
Of course, sorry about this, little bit of an iRacing connection issue, but of course Richard Cheery is a full-time Xfinity Series driver. Those are back. As Benson will spin down to the inside. Cheery did win at Daytona. I believe he also is going to take the points lead away after an unbelievable race at Chicagoland, after a lot of your full-time drivers have issues. There's Cameron Chandler down in the 3 and 4. There is the 28. That is Alexander Ortega making his NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series debut tonight. Of course, full-time in the Xfinity Series. He's been so promising this year. Still looking for that first Xfinity win. But first Cup Series start here tonight. It's going to be very exciting to see what the driver of the 28 can do. We know he's pretty solid in the next gen from other adventures, that he's had.
Yeah, 5,800 I rating. I mean, you get around these guys, they get up above 4K, and they're pretty tough. They're pretty tough, especially when they've really grinded it out. And it seems like Ortega's a grinder, so he knows how this car runs. He seems to be pretty good in it, and yeah, definitely excited to see what he does tonight in this race as well.
We'll take it side by side with that 71 car of Cole Clausen, your Season 2 Cup Series champion, as he heads down the back straightaway. He's been putting on some pretty good Culver's paint schemes as of late. This is, I guess, I haven't looked up too close, but I believe it's maybe a chicken sandwich car on the 71 for this weekend for MNF Racing. Cut down low. Once again, down the front stretch she goes. Car pulling onto the racetrack. There is your points leader, the 7 of Matthew White. Of course, he has 2 wins this year. They were back-to-back earlier in the season at Kentucky and Sonoma.
Man, Matt at Sonoma is a person you don't want to mess with. This guy is so good at road courses. He's very competent at ovals as well. He's just an all-around good racer, and really, really tough to beat. You see he hopped over that bump right there. That bump is really, really sketchy when you hop over that thing. Your wheel has to be dead straight. If it's any turn at all, you're going to get loose or spin out or anything like that. And of course, for qualifying, you have to rip the fence to even remotely come close to pole, it seems. So watch out for that bump tonight. A lot of people are going to go up there and not realize it, probably get loose, hit the wall, or spin out, and who knows, we'll have a big one.
All right. Through 3 and 4 goes the 7 of White. So far, top 5 are Braden Hunsicker, Dylan Banks, Jacob Malone, Matthew White, and Cameron Chandler. Jacob Malone's going to be one to watch tonight. Of course, he's not a full-time Cup driver, but he's been very good, especially here at Chicagoland in the past. Just down the back straightaway goes that 21 of Carlos Ortiz. Here is Joseph Lewis making his first Cup start of the year. I know Aiden probably won't love to see this on the racetrack, but it's the 82 for Joseph Lewis tonight as he heads down into turns number 1 and 2. Oh, there's Andrew Stacy blending onto the racetrack, and Joseph Lewis will head back to 1 and 2.
It's okay. He can have it just this once.
Of course, Joseph Lewis full-time in the Xfinity Series for Ethan Trendler Racing. We got a car upside down maybe. That's the 96 of Andrew Stacy, and he'll get slammed by that 7 of Matthew White. So we're about 10 minutes into the warm-up session, about 19 minutes remaining. Just getting started here in Chicagoland as Dylan Banks rolls onto the racetrack. He was oh so close to going to victory lane. Last week from Gate. Oh, he's going to spin off pit road. But so close to going to victory lane in Gateway. Unfortunately, the strategy just didn't work out the way he needed it to. And here's Joseph Lewis through turns 3 and 4. He is currently 11th on the board. There's the 99 of Richard Cherry. Like we said, filling in for Payson Lindsay. Payson Lindsay's got to be careful. He's got to be out of a playoff spot, especially because he's got a 2-race suspension now. So I don't think he's going to be anywhere. Well, he will be probably kind of near the playoffs, but he's definitely going to be out of them, out of contention. As John Butler goes into the wall after these few races he has under suspension. I mean, Payson Lindsay really has to clean this stuff up. This is his 2nd suspension of the season. He also has had some points penalties as well. It's just been really up and down, very messy season so far for the driver that usually is in the 99. Cameron Chandler to the top of the board now.
Yeah, Payson's a very aggressive driver. He definitely has the speed. He definitely has the talent. I've seen when I'm racing against him, I've seen it firsthand. So I can definitely believe in him that he actually can clean it up and actually can race up front. He just needs to learn when to pass, when to push, and maybe not overdo it sometimes. I know it gets to him pretty quick. So you're right. Definitely have to clean that stuff up.
All right, as Andrew Stacy will get back onto the racetrack. Of course, he had a great top 10 finish, 7th place, I believe, in Gateway. That really propelled him in the points. He is now up to 18th in the standings ahead of 19th place William Reagan. So Cutline battle's getting pretty interesting as well. It's currently Trenton Wilkin, who was actually not going to be able to race tonight, just above the cut line with Connor Asbell with 1 win on the year. Behind him, then you got Matt Grab, Andrew Stacy, William Reagan, Joseph Tucker, Landon Johnson, Christian Leonard all below the cut line. Ortiz, Gaisbrett, Gary Smith, Eli Tomlin, some others as well. Through 3 and 4 goes the 96 of Andrew Stacy. Alright, now Stacy led down the front straightaway. You got some more cars sitting on pit road. There's the 70 of Ethan McMillan. There's the 36. That is William Reagan. I have a bit of stream audio issues. What else is new? Should be back live here once again from Chicagoland Speedway. There's the 36 of William Reagan getting sideways. Here comes Ortega down the front straightaway. Currently, Alexander Ortega is 10th on the board for his Cup Series debut tonight. Ortega has been so good, so fast in the Xfinity Series this season. It's just been so much bad luck. Of course, he had that 20-point penalty after his actions at Lime Rock Park in the Truck Series. And then, of course, DNF'd, or didn't DNF, but he finished 20th after having so much speed and then getting involved in an accident last night at Chicagoland. Here is Jacob Malone in the 45, down in the front straightaway into turns number 1 and 2. Halfway through the warm-up session, still waiting on some drivers to join in. Here's the 88, that is Landon Johnson. Rolling down to the back straightaway. He's looking for a good finish tonight. He needs a good amount of points to try to propel himself closer to that playoff cut line.
Something I'm seeing is you see that little looseness over the bump again. A lot of these guys are ripping the fence trying to do qualifying runs. That's good. You want to have your qualifying lap set out and envisioned, of course, but man, when I did these practices, and when I still do, when I do my races, I wrap that bottom, practice long run and stuff like that. You gotta really you save your tires. That's what gets you up front. And a lot of these guys are just ripping the fence trying to do qualifying.
Here is Joseph Tucker in the 52 down the front straightaway. He's had a tough year. I don't think he has any top 10 finishes. I mean, he's got one at the Daytona 500. That's it. Currently, Joseph Tucker Yeah, actually, I believe he has the top 10 finish somewhere else too, but he currently sits outside the top 20 in points, and he's going to need a good run over these next few weeks to try to get closer to that playoff cut line.
Yeah, he's got a good-looking race car, though. I will say that.
As they roll down the back straightaway. All right, Aiden, so we're about halfway through the warm-up session here from Chicagoland Speedway. We've got lap times down, top 5, White, Chandler, Hunsicker, Malone, Banks. Kind of just switched around a couple of times. Who do you really have your eye on position? As
Pole, I have, I don't really know. Pole is, it's going to be, it's just whoever is going to wrap the line and wrap the top and work the best off of that, of course. Matthew White is the pole merchant, of course, but I don't know. You got people like Malone and Hunsicker that can really sneak in there. Richard Cheery, of course, he's good at qualifying, so we'll have to see it. So whoever's going to nail it, but my money would be on Matthew White for sure.
Synchronized spin, okay, iRacing, but synchronized spin here for Keys and the 72 of Connor as well. Unfortunately, we're having a couple of connection issues. Don't understand what's going on. Ortega's gone to the 4th spot on the board. Malone is now 2nd, so okay. We're having a bunch of blanks here all of a sudden, so apologize for that. All right, I think we're back live here. Sorry about that. I think we should be back live and rolling from the Chicagoland Speedway. Apologies for those connection issues, a couple of them that we had. And we welcome you live back to the broadcast booth here from the Chicagoland Speedway. I think Discord's all good. Good on that. All right, we're back live here from Chicagoland. I apologize for that. As Matthew White heads down the front straightaway, about 11 minutes to go until the warm-up session concludes. 1 and 2 goes that 36 of William Reagan. Nearly to the fence he goes. Get Malone blending back onto the racetrack. Top 10 so far: Matthew White, Jacob Malone, Cameron Chandler, Alexander Ortega, Braden Hunsicker, Dylan Banks, Richard Cheery, Ashton Miller, Bryce Benton in 9th, and then Cole Clausen rounding out your top 10.
I want to give a smooth shout out to Ashton Miller. He's cracking on the door for a win, of course, but he's always in that 6th to 8th area every single race, and that consistency is key when you want to get into the playoffs. So big congrats to him. Big shout out to him.
Yeah, of course, Ashton Miller currently sits top 6, I believe, in the point standings. There he is in the 79, heading down the front straightaway once again. He's got a car ahead of him. That is the 82 of Joseph Lewis. So far, 18 cars have been over the line for practice laps, I should say. Still some more yet to go. There's Lewis, bit of right side damage on his race car. As Alexander Ortega, in that 28, will make his way down the front straightaway, back into 1 and 2. Only about a 10th off Matthew White for the fastest time. Dylan Banks has fallen to now 7th, so it's been a bit since the driver of the 48 has put down a fast lap time, but he will try once again for 3 and 4.
But again, you take a look at the top 10 lap times. I mean, they're really only separated by just a little over a 10th, so it's very, very competitive tonight. Like I predicted that. It's a fast track. You got a lot of lines to it when you get in long run going. But even those guys that are tenths, like a couple tenths off and stuff, they will figure it out. You eventually realize what the other guys are doing, especially when you're racing them, and you learn a lot faster. And of course, when you race faster people, you get faster. And yeah, that top 10 looks pretty stout right now. Only basically a 0.18 or 0.18 separates the whole top 10.
As John Butler rolls his way down the back straightaway. And back into 3 and 4. into he will go. There is the 36 of William Reagan. There is that 82 of Joseph Lewis. Oh, got a car blowing up. That's the 96 of Andrew Stacy. He's got, okay. Okay, we're having, having a lot of connection issues tonight. I really don't understand what's going on. Apologize for this. Oh, we got a big group of drivers rolling on to the racetrack. All right, I think hopefully back live again. I had to switch networks. God damn.
You don't have a Ethernet cable?
Not right now. I'm gonna get one, but I don't have it right now. We're having.
Yeah, that would solve a lot of. Yeah, that would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, I never used to have this issue though. My internet was always fine until this season for some reason, where everything just, you know, this happens. But I think we should be back live again.
Yeah, but man, these guys are getting so close to the wall, man. You don't really see it in the car like we do, but wow, it's impressive that we all do this.
Yeah, there's Bryce Benton.
Once you take a step back and realize what we're all doing, it's crazy.
Bryce Benton makes his way down the front straightaway back into 1 and 2. Of course, last season he ran about maybe 10th to 13th all race long. I think he finished 10th. Matt Grab on the racetrack now down the back straightaway. He's currently outside the playoffs. He's got to have a good day if he wants to get closer to that cut line tonight. And you got Ashton Miller wrecking down the back straightaways with 36 of William Reagan. All right, so about 6 minutes left to go here in this warm-up session. There's the 36 of William Reagan. Coming to the outside now. There's Joseph Tucker in that 52 car. Ooh, slightly in the wall for Ortega once again as they head down the back straightaway. All right. 5 minutes. Ooh, Dylan Banks is in the middle of the track that he will reset. About 5 minutes to go in this warm-up session. Looking at the top of the board, it is still Matthew White. Malone is second, Chandler third, Banks fourth, Ortega fifth. Top five all separated by less than a tenth of a second. That is just how close it is. That's like one, maybe a little blip of the throttle or something like that or whatever. But that is just how close it is at the top of the board tonight. This is absolutely insane.
It's going to shape up to be a good race, I'm telling you. These guys, these really, really fast guys, they know exactly what line to run, braking points, throttle points. They know it, and when you know it, you get times like that. As Connor's doing my little drift.
Hasbell in front of Dylan Banks. Here's another car, I believe, pulling down pit road. Somebody was at least, but there's the 82 of Joseph Lewis rolling back onto the racetrack. You got some more cars still in the pits back here. The 36 of William Reagan. Alexander Ortega back down the front straightaway. Kind of impressive so far. Top five on the board. Roll around the wall. Not as close as we saw. Oh, maybe as close as we saw Bryce Benton. Nearly hit it. Let's see, we'll head through 3 and 4.
Yep, there it is, that bump, man. I'm telling you, that thing's going to be really tricky.
We saw a lot of Xfinity drivers, I think, get loose over that. Of course, the Xfinity Series had an absolutely massive crash down the front straightaway last night that saw Justin Rott go on his roof. after getting slammed by CJ Erdman. As there's Benson gonna take a big hit into the wall. That's gonna destroy the side of his 9 car.
That's what we all used to do when you get fun with your lap. You hit the wall, maybe you're like, lap over, wreck the car. Why not? It's just practice.
3 minutes to go now in the warm-up session. Still in some drivers to join. Tomlin now is going to race here with 77 of Braden Hunsicker. Oh, Hunsicker over the... Maybe, I don't know if that was the bump or he just got loose. So he will spin.
So it's the bump there. It's really bad on the top, but it's still a. I mean, you're in the daytime, so it's slick anyway. But that it's the whole corner. You can even hit the bump on the bottom, but it's really not as bad.
Here is Jacob Malone once again. He was so fast in the Xfinity Series last night. Got a second place finish there. Probably could have won the race if he just didn't have Jamie McKinney in the way. Matt Grab rolling back on the racetrack. 2 minutes to go here in this warm-up. You got Connor Asbell on the wall ahead of them. There's the 48 of Dylan Banks. There's Eli Tomlin, Andrew Stacy. Down the back stretch he goes. Andrew Stacy, we talked to him last night after the Xfinity race. He's just looking for a solid top 12 run tonight to try to get himself closer and closer to those playoffs. So we're missing guys like Sean Hilquist, Trenton Wilkin tonight. They won't, unfortunately, be able to race. TJ Handley was going to be filling in for Trenton Wilkin, but he's not able to race either as Dylan Banks hits the wall. Those guys right on the playoff cut line. Of course, Hilquist was doing so good this season. As we got the 88 of Landon Johnson third currently. Hilquist was having such a good year. Finished second at Bristol, but unfortunately after his wreck in Darling, he finished with a DNF in Darlington. Now 2 missed races in a row, but he will be back in Michigan, and you should see him for the rest of the year. Same thing with Trenton Wilkin.
Yeah, Malone jumped to the top, so with a pretty badass lap, if I have to say so myself. He was, what, 5th, and now he's 0.07 ahead of Matt, so they just keep getting faster, man. They keep figuring out what to do, and they learn from each other, and they figure it out.
Look at Ortega, inches away from that wall.
Yeah, man.
Talking about Jacob Malone, he was really good in qualifying last night in the Xfinity car. Of course, a completely different car. I can't really learn anything from the Xfinity car to the Cup car, for the most part.
Yeah, the only thing there is really just getting familiar with the racetrack, just finding the bumps and stuff like that, and you kind of translate that to how this car acts and stuff, and of course they act completely different, but it's just kind of familiarizing yourself with turn-in bumps, stuff like that. That's really all there is.
I mean, these top 6 to 7 cars are so close on pace and so fast. This is going to be...
You could argue top 10. I mean, look at that. Only 2 tenths off. That's not a big gap at all.
And they would have been even closer if Jacob Malone just didn't run an absolute flyer.
Yeah, that was a very good lap.
Checkered flag in the air. Practice has concluded. Qualifying coming up for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series in Chicagoland. Who's going to win pole position? It is going to be wide open to see who's going to do it. Jacob Malone, fastest in practice. He's still looking for that first career victory. As we welcome you live to qualifying for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series in Chicagoland. Cars pulling onto the track.
Yeah, watch out for that blue number 7, man. He's a qualifying machine at every single track we go to.
Yeah, Matthew White has the record all time for NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series pole positions. Here's Ashton Miller rolling onto the track. He also has the most wins in the Cup Series with 16, looking for his 17th career victory tonight. Down the front straightaway goes Joseph Lewis. Here is the 7 of Matthew White. Gotta watch out for him. You got 2 laps to do it in qualifying, as always, on these non-super speedways. There's Ethan McMillan. There is Connor Rasbell. There is the 71 of Cole Clausen. It is all wide open. Riley Bennett making his first Cup start of the year for Johnson Motorsports. He's made his other Cup start at Talladega last season. Cameron Chandler rolling down the back straightaway into 3 and 4. Really up against the wall. There's Jacob Malone on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll come off turn number 4 to I believe, finish his first lap. Cut the apron.
Let's see what lap it is.
Hunsicker to the top of the board so far. Malone, he is 3rd. Hunsicker now fastest. Miller is 2nd. Good lap for him. Maybe not so fast as for Jacob Malone on lap number 1. Here's Joseph Tucker currently in 4th. Final as he rolls down to the back straightaway into 3 and 4. Here's the 79 of Ashton Miller trying to grab pole position. Almost to the wall he goes down the front straightaway for the final time for Miller. He will back it down. What lap time is it going to be? It wants to ever update. Is still 2nd place. He does not improve on lap number 1. It's still Braden Hunsicker on provisional pole. Matthew White all the way back in 6th. I don't know if he's running or not on the racetrack still. If I can actually find him. Matthew White is not running. Matthew White, best he's going to start is 6th. Ortiz is now 10th.
Tell you what, that 77 starting out front is bad news for the field, man. He was really hard to beat last season, so him out front already this early is concerning for everybody else.
Yeah, so Hunsicker, Miller, Malone, Tucker, Asbell, your top 5 so far. Here comes Cameron Chandler, currently 8th. I don't know if he's on a fast lap here. I think he is. Still yet to run some notables. Ortega, Benton, Matt Grab. Also got Dylan Banks, your defending series champion. Final time through 3 and 4 for the gate of Cameron Chandler.
Now, of course, some of these guys actually might not qualify because Cameron's going to come down pit road here. Some of these guys actually might not qualify because something I used to do when I was racing the Xfinity Series is I didn't really want to get into a first lap wreck or early wreck, so I would start out back to be safe. And you know, if you trust your gut, you trust your skill, and you save your tires, of course, you'll funnel through the field pretty quick. But yeah, some of these guys actually just might not qualify, and that's kind of their style.
Some drivers like Benton and Banks, they usually wait till the very end of the session. Banks is now 9th. Benton is yet to run. Here's Ortega in the 28. He's to the top of the board. What a lap by Alexander Ortega. He is currently fastest. Here comes Bryce Benton to the line. He's 11th on lap 1. Banks is now 8th. He is currently done. Ortega across the line. He will, I think, not improve his lap time, but what a lap time in his Cup Series debut on provisional pole.
Hey man, when you got this car figured out, it doesn't matter if it's your first race or your last race. You know.
Benton, final lap for him. He is now done. What is it going to be? I believe he's going to start 11th at the very best.
You got some very, very fast guys starting out back, it looks like. Cameron Chandler down in 13th.
Matthew White 10th, Benton 11th, Sherry 12th. I mean, yeah. And here it is. What a lap. He was a top 5 in practice. Wasn't the fastest guy, but in qualifying, when it mattered, others made mistakes. And he's going to be on pole. First career pole position in his first ever start for the Xfinity Series standout, Alexander Ortega on pole.
Good job to Ortega. Now let's do the real thing, man. Let's get these guys on the racetrack and racing. You can set a good lap, but man, you got to keep up the consistency all night long.
As we welcome you live to the Chicagoland Speedway here tonight for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series Season number 4 race from Chicagoland. We are live here once again as we look through the starting grid. Of course, what a pole position. The rookie Alexander Ortega on pole. 2 is outside, going to be Your winner last weekend, the driver with 2 wins on the year, Braden Hunsicker. Lining up number 2 will be Ashton Miller, Jacob Malone. Then you got Joseph Tucker, Matt Grab. Pretty good starting spot for him in P6. He usually doesn't qualify so well. And then you got Connor Aswell, pretty decent starting spot in 7th, Banks 8th, Ortiz 9th, Matthew White, kind of surprising, all the way back in 10th place. Same thing with the 9 of Bryce Benson. He'll be 11th. You get the rest of your top 20 and the rest of your fields rolling across the left side of your screen. All right, this is Chicagoland for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series in season number 4. We are just about ready to roll off, and we are ready to go here from Chicagoland Speedway. All right, Dylan, this is, of course, your first ever Cup Series race in the booth with us. What do you really expect to happen early in the race tonight?
I'm expecting some, I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. I know as a driver, I would expect everyone to hopefully take it easy pretty early. Maybe just a couple of people ripping the fence trying to get spots early. We might see a big wreck, but I don't know. We'll see.
All right. As they are just about ready to roll off the grid. Here from the Chicagoland Speedway. Last season, this race did happen a few hours in sim time later, so we were under the lights then. Will not happen tonight, but the pace car will roll off, ready to go racing for race number 9 of the Cup Series season. This is actually also the halfway point of the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series in season number 4. What a pole position it was for the 28 of Alexander Ortega. We're going to have to give us a quick second. Oh, that we did it. Okay. All right. So they will roll down pit road this first time. Of course, we're also going to have the choose let go. He's down the front straightaway on the restarts. And we are live for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series in Chicagoland. Like I said, midway point of the regular season. Big playoff battles going on all around. Drivers to watch out for tonight below the playoff cut line. Matt Grab, Connor Aswell could be 2. You got Joseph Tucker starting in the inside of the top 5. He's currently below the playoff cut line. Carlos Ortiz as well, and some others. All right, as they will roll around through turns 3 and 4 to check their pit boxes and pit road speed this time by. Definitely a bit of a light fuel. We're missing drivers like Gary Smith, Trenton Wilkin, Sean Hilquich, Christian Leonard. We're also missing, I believe, Mark Prince, 7 Hathorn. I did actually ask the race part-time tonight. He was not able to do it. So we definitely are missing a bunch of cars. Jamie McKinney was going to race tonight, but after his win, after how long he celebrated last night for his Xfinity Series win, he's very sleep deprivated and he's not going to actually be making a start tonight.
I don't blame him, man. You win a race like that, you do burnouts all night long, man. I can tell you.
As they will come to check their pit boxes this time by, you gotta watch out for Cameron Chandler starting all the way back in 13th place. Usually a driver that qualifies a little bit better, but big surprise in qualifying, Matthew White going to be starting in 10th place here.
Yeah, definitely watch for guys like Cameron. He will slowly and methodically pick his way off one by one. He won't go nuts. He won't go crazy. He'll just, save his tires, bide his time, one car at one time. Nothing more than that.
As they roll down the backstretch, ready to come to green this time by.
And as I tell everybody who joins into my streams, everyone in the friend group, when we get like this, a pace car is ready to dunk on off, make sure your wheel's straight, make sure you're right in your seat right, get comfy, because guys, it is showtime.
Pace car going to make that hard left turn down to the pits. Race number 9 of season number 4 in the Cup Series is green and underway from the Chicagoland Speedway. Three wide already for the lead. Here comes Malone around the outside. You got Ortega on the bottom. Through 1 and 2, they will go 3 wide now for second. Ortega up the racetrack. Malone's already in the fence as they head down the back straightaway for the opening time. 3 by 3 action behind him. You got Joseph Tucker on the bottom, and you got Jacob Malone trying to wrap that outside. Ortega will clear him, and And the 28 will come around turn number 4. They're still 3 wide behind him. Almost in the wall, Matthew White. Ortega will lead lap 1.
Gotta be careful of that bump over there in turn 4, especially when you're in a pack like this. They're still 3 wide there for 4th, but man, I didn't expect them to get that wild that early on lap 1, that's for sure.
In the wall, Ashton Miller, contact. Hunsaker's going around.
Oh,
They will
man.
spin in the grass.
Hold
Your winner from last week. He's going to actually be able to save it, and we will stay green. Coming to lap 3 in
All race to
Chicagoland.
make it back. All race to
Hunsaker.
come back. Got the whole race.
Yeah, but does he have damage? Matthew White already has a bit of side damage on that number 7 car. Through 1 and 2 they go. Dylan Banks is the inside trying to make up position. He's already inside of the top 5, battling Matthew White for 5th. He's going to clear that 7 off corner exit, but nearly in the wall once again for that 48 as they head down the back straightaway. Side by side, Joseph Tucker, Carlos Ortiz racing. Door to door, that is for 8th. Tucker momentum around the outside lane on that 21 machine. Now, Braden Hunsaker going to fall all the way back to last.
Heading in on a lap 4, unfortunate for Braden Hunsinger, but it seems like everyone's slowly trying to funnel into that single file style, save your tires. Everyone gets a little strung out. Now is when you can pass. As you see Cameron Chandler going way upstairs, hit that bump and got loose, but this is when you see people trying to pass when it gets strung out.
Tucker squeezes White down the front straightaway. Cameron Chandler isn't the biggest fan of Joseph Tucker, just to keep that in mind tonight, as they're 3 wide. Ortiz, White, and Chandler through turn number 1 and turn number 2. Oh, Chandler nearly in the wall. Matthew White's going to have 2 cars drive around him. Now he's got Connor Asbelt to his inside.
Okay, just take your time. Everyone on the bottom. Play it safe.
Andrew Stacy currently running in 12th. That's where he wanted to actually finish in his Xfinity interview last night. He will actually get around Matthew White, and the 7's going to fall back to P12. Battle here, Carlos Ortiz to the inside of his former teammate, Cameron Chandler. Chandler's going to go around the outside and will clear that 21. That is for 8th place. You got Dylan Banks now battling Bryce Benton. Here's Chandler to the inside of Joseph Tucker. And maybe even Dylan Banks. The 48 is up the racetrack. He's going to be side by side with that 52. He's going to be there on him. He's going to side draft him. Ooh, a little bit aggressively. And we know these two aren't the biggest of friends. They will aggressively side draft down the front straightaway. Chandler, big send back on the inside on that 52 of Joseph Tucker. Still not clear. Tucker's got momentum around the outside lane.
One thing that's got to be frustrating for Cameron is you're definitely faster than the guy in front of you.
Oh, we got a car getting loose.
Trying to pass. Nope.
Matt Grab was sideways, almost went around. He's going to lose maybe 10 spots from that one. I'm sorry, Aiden, but he was completely sideways, nearly had a wreck.
Oh, man, that's the second save tonight. These guys really want to have a long green flag run, but once again, oh, there we go. We're
Joseph Tucker crashing.
Oh, he
and
collected somebody. Who was that? Cheery
That's
involved.
Cheery. Caution's going to come out for the opening time. Landon Johnson's going to pile straight into it.
Man.
That is his affiliated teammate. Yellow flag, lap number 8. First caution of the night is underway here in Chicagoland. Let's take a look at what happened. It's Joseph Tucker going around, and Cheery already is done.
Oh, he lost it on his own right in front of Cameron. Yeah, just Cameron wasn't even on him there.
Oh,
that's a weird spot to get loose.
Cheery.
Yeah, Cheery, nowhere to go. Oh, man, hate it for him.
And then Landon Johnson right at the last second piles into it. Cheery's going to be done for the day. Early exit for him, unfortunate. Let's ride along with Joseph Tucker through this accident. You do get 3 sets of tires, so I don't think anyone's going to pit. Under Dylan Banks' team. Oh, yeah, just
it's so weird. It's such a weird spot. It was after the bump. I don't know if he... of course, I don't know if you're slick on throttle or anything, but it looked like he just throttled up too hard and it just went right around on him. And, of course, you know, Cameron can't slow down in time, so he just finished him off. But that was really weird.
Yeah, product of the error of these cars, really weird. I mean, it felt really weird in the first 7 laps until I got absolutely killed right there, you know. Gonna be in the booth here the rest of the race while I cool off a little bit.
Yeah,
man, that's unfortunate.
Yep.
Joseph Tucker is going to be pitting. He has big damage. So does the 88 of Landon Johnson. You got a couple cars that were outside the top. Oh, yeah, actually, Matthew White pitting. So maybe some of your top contenders. Matt Graff had that big slide. I don't know who's going to take tires. Got to look on Matthew White. Did he take tires or not? We're going to actually check real quick because he is usually always one of your top contenders. He did not. He took fuel only, and that's going to help him for the end of the stage. This should be a very interesting timed caution.
I was going to say maybe just some of these guys that come in and pit early is probably just for fuel, really, when you think about it. I, for one, can't stand fuel saving, can't stand fuel racing, because to me it's not racing. And I'm sure Matt feels the exact same way. So come in, get fuel, get yourself good enough to the end of the stage. You can go hard all the way through. No fuel saving.
There is a 10% takeoff from the fuel. It's at 90% fuel capacity for tonight. It was about maybe like lap, well, I forget. It was, I think, maybe lap 45 to 50 on the fuel window. This will get him close to the end of the stage, so he may be able to. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay out. Everybody else that doesn't pit here is going to have to pit under the stage, before the stage caution. We got actually Cameron Chandler, Braden Hunsaker pitting. So this is going to make things interesting, this first early timed caution. So yeah,
this second lap when you're coming over, yeah, when you come up to the choose, if you're so far back enough, you might as well just, especially if fuel's tight, you might as well come in a second time or wait till the very last second you can come in. As you see Cameron Chandler, Connor Asbell come in. This is just probably to top off on fuel, maybe to fix some more damage like Landon Johnson's in there for. We see Cole Clausen rolling out of here, but just get yourself with fuel, right? And even if you still have to save, you can save in the back of the pack, half throttle down the straightaways because you're in the draft and stuff, and you burn less fuel versus when you're out front, of course. But that's basically what it's all for, is why everyone's coming in the second time.
Joseph Tucker and Richard Cherry, two drivers taken out of the race early. That's very unfortunate for this race. Unfortunate, two cars already taken out of it. We have Alexander Ortega and Jacob Malone on the front row for the restart. Chandler and Hunsaker still get to roll back on. Same thing with Landon Johnson. Just a big mistake there. Joseph Tucker can't really have that in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. Just lost it all by himself. Pace car back to pit road, though. We're going to be back underway here on lap number 12.
I hope he doesn't feel too bad. I wrecked myself at Auto Club, so I can't really say nothing.
What a great restart by Alexander Ortega. He is gone on Jacob Malone. Bryce Benson is having a blinking fest in third. We got a side-by-side battle with Ashton Miller and Dylan Banks as they head down the back straightaway. Back into 3 and 4 they will go. You got still almost contact between the 48 and the 79. Miller used to be on. Oh, we got a car on the wall. Joseph Tucker down this front straightaway. Joseph Lewis down the front straightaway. He's going to lose positions. William Reagan's going to go around him. Got
yeah, you got to be careful on the exits. Yeah, got to be careful on exits. That dirty air will bite you. Like even the last quarter of the turn, you really once you're behind somebody, man, it is hard to turn. It's almost like you can't turn.
Here is Ortega down the front straightaway yet again to the line to come to lap 14 here in Chicagoland. He's got Jacob Malone on his bumper. How about Bryce Benson up to third place? Ashton Miller currently running in fourth. And there is the 48 of Dylan Banks right now in P5.
Well, it looks like they were trying to wreck there in the back, but they all save it.
Joseph Lewis has damage, and so does the 21 of Carlos Ortiz. There's Braden Hunsaker, Cameron Chandler. They were not able to get up to speed. I believe Johnson is also retired from the race. This has been an absolutely chaotic race so far. Oh, and of course spinning. That's Ethan McMillan in the grass. My goodness, what is going on here in Chicagoland? I mean,
We've had a caution and 4 saves, and it's lap 15. What is going on, man?
I thought
this car is just so unpredictable when it comes to aero and handling. You know, one lap it can get you can get to turn 3, for example, get tight, and then in the next lap it can get really loose or empty. So it's really tough to try to predict what's going to happen with this car. As we have seen in this first 16 laps of this race, we have also seen a lot of wrecks on restarts because people want to get track position with dirty air. So You know, now it has settled down a little bit, though. We have Jacob Malone fighting for the lead with Ortega. Malone, who was running up front yesterday in the Xfinity race, especially in the short run. In the long run, he was really falling off. But here is gonna pass Alexander Ortega for the lead.
He's on the bumper that 30 or 28, I should say. Ortega goes up the racetrack a little bit. Malone's got a run heading down this back straightaway. Of course, yeah, this race has been unbelievable so far. I thought the Xfinity race was the one that was going to be chaotic. Oh, we'll take a little bit of the bumps you can see through 3 and 4. Thought that was going to be the most chaos we would see all week long, but no. This race is already top that we already have 3 drivers DNFing. Back into 1 and 2 they go. 18 laps in Chicagoland. We got a battle here. How about Riley Bennett and Andrew Stacy? How about him running instead of the top 10? They got Matthew White back to 8th. William Reagan currently running in 9th, and then Matt Grab in 10th. These are some of the cars that had those big saves. And this has really shuffled up the running order.
Let's talk about Matt Grab, because we haven't, in the last few months, with him being busy and stuff, he has been, we haven't seen him racing too much, but now he has come back, and with his biggest strength being the long run. He won Darlington last season with basically a fantastic long run saving tires. So let's see what he can do from P10, probably saving tires too.
Alexander Ortega loses 2 spots. Malone drives around him. Now Bryce Benson looking to get around the outside. Ashton Miller could be coming as well. Ortega now back to 3rd. As they come to lap 20.
But don't look now. But Dylan Banks is in the most Dylan Banks position right now. Let the top 4 fight. This is exactly his style. Save tires. Let the front 4 fight like crazy. You see Ashton Miller getting loose. Bide your time. He's got a chip on his shoulder tonight racing for his grandmother recently passed. But that patriotic number 48, man, he is going to be a contender tonight. You best believe it.
Yeah, of course, thoughts and prayers going to the whole Banks family. So unfortunate to hear that news. Of course, praying for him, Dylan Banks, and his family in this tough time. He currently runs 5th. Miller up the racetrack a little bit. We know he doesn't usually save. In the wall a bit goes that driver of the 79. Then you got Ortega kind of running a little bit low. Bryce Benson, he's also a driver that usually doesn't save. Malone especially. I mean, the only one that's really a long-run driver out of these top 4 is Ortega, and he's already starting to fall back.
Could be starting to fall back, or it's just you get into that saving tire rhythm where everybody else is kind of just ripping it on the bottom or ripping on the top, and you really got to mind how much throttle you put down on exit. That's really the trick to it. You don't want to put in a crazy wide arc because you turn the wheel too hard, but you kind of see Bryce Benton there. He goes lower than Jacob Malone into the corner, try and get that clean air on his nose. That's kind of the line you want to run when you're saving tire. However, the line Jacob Malone is running, you can kind of see it's a straighter shot down to the bottom. See, it takes him a long time to get to the bottom there. You know, that could be just his right front not be able to turn, or it's just the line he likes. But just watch for, like I said, watch for Banks and maybe Ortega. It'll start to fall back a little bit, but wait another 20 laps and see where they're all running.
Banks is actually starting to catch Ashton Miller and Alexander Ortega as they head down the front straightaway coming to lap 24. But 1 caution flag so far. So the fuel situation definitely going to be very, very interesting. We do have some cars that are going to be pretty close to actually making it, and then some cars that definitely are going to need the pit if we don't have a caution, as even McMillan is slow down the back straightaway.
Now, of course, all these guys in the top 5, I've been in this spot. You're like, okay, the first 10 laps of this race have been absolutely wild. It's probably going to stay the exact same way. We're going to get another caution, and of course, if a caution comes out now, 1, you pit for tires, and 2, of course, you fill up your car and you're good to the end of the stage. So these guys are definitely banking on a caution. However, sometimes it doesn't happen. After you get the pre-race jitters out, the first lap jitters, everyone calms down like it is now, and if it does definitely stay green, it's going to look like everybody up to, 7th, Matthew White. He was the one that came in and pitted under that caution for fuel. I think he might be the first one that's good.
Yeah, we have definitely seen a lot of long runs in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series this season. I think most, during, of course we have the halfway break. I think we divide it into 2 halves for the race. I think we've had more halves this season that have gone completely caution-free than halves that have gone with yellow flags. As Ethan McMillan are again slow down the back straightaway. Maybe going to go 2 laps down now.
Matt, those long runs, they mostly come with, I know recently the league had switched over to manual cautions instead, like the race control decides it versus iRacing, because iRacing will throw a caution for you if you scruff the wall in the wrong spot. But it comes with that, and just everyone hops into their rhythm. And once you're in your rhythm, it's tracks like Darlington, tracks like this one, Las Vegas, tracks that really eat up your tires. You just get into a rhythm, and everyone kind of runs their minds their P's and Q's, and it's a long run. That's how you get one.
Benton got screwed over by that lap car. Now he's got Alexander Ortega all over his bumper. He was to the outside for a second. He will re-clear the 28 off corner exit, but nearly a lost position by the 9 of Bryce Benton as McMillan goes 2 laps down. Miller may have a compromised exit. McMillan going to try to let him go the best he can. Gap about 7 tenths for the 45 Jacob Malone. Through 3 and 4 he goes. Top 3 currently Malone, Benton, Ortega. They all ran the Xfinity Series race last night, and were running really well there as well. Let's go through the field a little bit. You got Miller currently running in 4th, Banks 5th. You got a battle for P6 going on between Matthew White and Riley Bennett. Matthew White just got inside of the top 6 now. You got Bennett currently running in 7th. Down the back straightaway, there is Andrew Stacy solidly in 8th. How about William Reagan having a really solid run? He entered tonight below the playoff cut line, currently running in 9th. There is Matt Grab solidly inside of the top 10. John Butler, oh, he's such a solid driver. He got his best finish of the season in Gateway. And with a 4th place finish, he currently runs 11th. Connor Aswell currently 12th. 13th for Cole Clausen, 14th Carlos Ortiz, and rounding out your top 15 is Eli Tomlin, still having a pretty good day. Back all the way on Cameron Chandler and Braden Hunsicker, running 17th and 18th. They, of course, pitted right before we went green, and they also lost some time.
Yeah, once you you know, if the caution doesn't come out for a little scuffle like that, which it won't, but you can kind of see on the scoreboard there from all the way from back from the 5 car to Cameron Chandler, it's a good like 10 seconds. So of course everyone hitting the brakes while everyone else is hard on the gas. You know, you lose that time, and it's ridiculously hard to make that back up. So I think their game is just to wait out the stage. Maybe another caution comes out, gets them caught back up, but you're guaranteed a caution. So they're probably just riding around, saving their tires, and just hitting their marks and stuff like that. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, and as long as they don't go a lap down, they should be okay.
Yeah, we're still about 36 laps to go to the halfway break here in Chicagoland. Ortega going back around the outside on Bryce Benton, trying to get some momentum. He's been, of course, quick all day long. Down to the back stretch they had. Benton's going to have some pressure with that car coming on his bumper. Benton also starting to run down Jacob Malone to about 5 tenths.
And this is right around the time. We've been green for how long? About 20 laps or so. This is right around the time where tires really start kicking in. I know the next gen doesn't really wear down tires as much, but it still does. You know, over the course of laps go by and stuff, tires get more and more worn, and the guys that are really good at saving the tires start to shine. Thus, Jacob Malone kind of backing up a little bit. Ortega, you see, finally passing Benton for second. Definitely saved the tires a lot better.
Saw that side draft as Benton's going to make a bit of a crossover move as he'll try to get there. Ortega just was able to cover that off. Ortega now back to 2nd place. Malone still with the lead as Benton will fall back to P3. Gotta watch out. There's the 48 of Dylan Banks still waiting in the wings, currently in 5th.
That meter around him is it was 2.5 a little while ago. Now it's dropped down to 2. It was about like 1.6 or 7 a couple laps ago. Maybe some traffic got in the way. Ashton Miller, dirty air, but I'm telling you, it's shaping up to be exactly like how Dylan Banks wants it to go. Long runs.
Dirty air doesn't look horrible tonight, to be honest. It definitely dirty air kind of got like more upped with the new iRacing update with this next gen car. It doesn't look too bad though tonight. We saw Ortega just able to drive around Bryce Benton. It's definitely not the best. I think Xfinity still is better with that, but it could have been worse.
There's been times, last race I did Darlington, I would go into a corner, and even if you weren't behind a guy that was, even if you were behind a guy that wasn't that fast, I mean, you're talking like hundreds of feet later to get back on the gas.
Ortega got in the wall slightly. Now he's got Bryce Benton down the back straightaway coming to his bumper. You also got Dylan Banks in the back bumper of Ashton Miller. Ashton Miller's had a really solid day inside the top 5 right now. Coming on 37. It's been Jacob Malone up front for the most part tonight. He also led, I think, just about the most laps in the Xfinity race last night. Ortega now has been ripping the fence for the last few laps. He's got good momentum off corner exit. Should carry down this back straightaway. Yes, it will. Gains maybe about a 10th or even more on Jacob Malone. Malone kind of running that middle line through 3 and 4. You got Ortega on the bottom, and he is starting to close up the gap for the race lead. Banks
and Dylan Banks had just switched. Yep, Dylan Banks just switched to 4th. Now he's got a clean track in front of him up to Bryce Benton, about 1.5 seconds. That's not enough for Dirty Air to take in place. Let's see how the gap comes down between those two in the next 5 to 6 or 7 laps.
We're starting to see Jacob Malone take the line away of Alexander Ortega. He ran the outside through 1 and 2, which is where Ortega gained all of his time last time down the back straightaway.
Yep, and with the next-gen car, of course, with the new update, the Dirty Air, like you said, is a lot worse. Still manageable, of course, but it is a lot worse. So in reality, if you're trying to hold on to a win for the last 10 laps, you could really hold a guy off for the last 10. Just drive in front of him. That's all you got to do.
Ortega crossed a lot on Malone. He's 1/10 now behind Malone in the 45. Malone gets really loose as they come to start-finish line, Ethan.
Ortega's got a run on him as they will come to lap 40 this time by. Here comes the 28. He'll now try the outside lane. Malone's going to dip low. I think Ortega's going to have big momentum coming off corner exit. We'll probably just be able to... Oh, he's going to get in the wall. That's going to kill it all. It still actually didn't kill most of it. He's got to run, and he's going to pull it down to the inside. For the lead, Alexander Ortega back on Jacob Malone, trying to slide back up the racetrack. Still door-to-door at the 45. How will this allow Bryce Benton to close in? Door-to-door, down the front straightaway for the race lead in Chicagoland. Ortega still there, through 1 and 2. Oh, he's really loose! Completely sideways ahead of Bryce Benton. And they almost made contact. He'll fall to 3rd. That 28 was completely sideways.
It was right around the same spot where the 52 spun out there. I think what happened there is he clipped the white line, and whatever reason with this next gen car, if you clip the paint, it just turns your car so much you're not expecting it, and you get sideways. But great save from Ortega.
Bryce Benton now will hold on now to 2nd place on Jacob Malone, who still has the lead. Back to the top. Once again, didn't get scared by that at all. Jacob, of course, Alexander Ortega to the outside. You got 3 manufacturers representing the top 3. Toyota leading, Chevrolet currently in 2nd, and Ford currently in 3rd. It's a bit of a longer run. I'm actually kind of surprised Jacob Malone still able to hold on even to Bryce Benton. We know him as definitely a much better short run driver. Oh, again in the wall, Ortega.
A little too hard, but yeah, I'm telling you one thing right now, man. Dylan Banks is about the 1/10.5 to 2/10 a lap faster than Jacob Malone. The tires switch has definitely kicked in, and I'm telling you, Dylan Banks is going to be the man to watch out for tonight.
Bryce Benton's starting to close on Malone as they head back down the front straightaway. They're also starting to enter some lap traffic. You got Cameron Chandler involved, Braden Hunsaker, Connor Asbell, the 80-21 of Ortiz. They got to be careful here. They're getting caught.
You almost want to start wondering if maybe with that little scuffle there a couple laps ago with Ortiz, if all of them even got damage or anything. They're 26 seconds behind the lead. Usually if you get loose like that, you hit the brakes, you get checked up, and you can kind of maintain with the leaders. But yeah, I mean, their lap times seem to be really far off.
Bryce Benton closing for the lead of this race on Jacob Malone. He's to the outside through 1 and 2. Oh, that big momentum coming. Huge run off corner exit. He'll pull to the inside, for the race lead. Bryce Benton on Jacob Malone. Side by
Clear
side.
him going into 3. Yeah, he got him.
What a run you get off, but Malone's back there. He's going to try to keep it on the outside lane. Three-way battle for the lead, and it's going to be Benton clearing Malone. Here comes Ortega. 3 of them all over each other. Ortega out of the inside, and there's Malone back to the outside on Benton. They might be 3 wide just for a second. Benton.
Give this another lap or two. Dylan Banks will be there, but another guy to watch out for. He's called multiple seconds on those guys is Matthew White.
Ortega back to the inside. Going to side draft Benton for the race lead. Ortega is going to pull it down low, try to send it really deep on Benton. He's going to nearly clear him. Benton trying to keep it back around the outside, and he is clear. But back to the outside is the 9 car, not giving up.
But now Ortega got him. Yeah, he got him.
Yes, he does. New leader once again, your pole sitter, Alexander Ortega. Oh, but he's in the wall! Once again.
Wow. Gotta watch up there, man.
They're 3 wide nearly. Here's Benton. Here comes the 48 of Banks. What a race!
What a race indeed.
Benton trying to slide back up the racetrack. Ortega trying to get momentum on the outside once again. They are still door to door. Ortega is clear on the 9.
I think Ortega's faster than Benton and Malone there. He's just trying to run away with it, but here comes the 48. He's been ripping the bottom all night, and it's going to pay off. He's going to be so much faster in the center of the corner versus everyone else.
Here we go. Banks trying to battle with his teammate Jacob Malone for 3rd place. Then you got Benton back up the racetrack, currently running in 2nd. Ortega puts about a 2-10-second gap. Oh, Malone up the racetrack. He got tight. He'll have his teammate to his inside, battle for 3rd place. Door to door. Ethan McMillan actually has kept pretty good pace on these 2. These 4 actually. He's really not dropped at all. I believe he might be on fresh tires though. The 3rd
Again,
place.
we overlook as Dylan Banks goes to 3rd. We overlook fuel. We got to remember these guys still have to come in the pit.
Yeah, we're coming back to 18 to go to the halfway break this time by. I think the only driver that doesn't have to pit is Matthew White, but he still may have to save a bunch. Could this be prime position for Matthew White to take the stage win?
Oh, I just saw it there. He was a lap ago. He was really closing in on these guys, 1.9 back, but now Miller's passed him, and they must be saving fuel or something. He's dropped way off pace.
Yeah, these leaders, the top 5, are not able to make it no matter how much they save. But White, of course, pitted about lap 10. I think that should maybe get him about maybe 3-4 laps short, so that's definitely savable, and I think that's what he's trying to do right now.
I would definitely think guys like Matt Grab, who need the points, have just been fuel saving the entire run.
Ortega in the wall. He's going to have Benton back. We got a car spinning down to the inside. Around goes Connor Asbell. Where did he go? He blinked for a second. I don't know where he is. I think he's gone. Benton, a big slide job on Alexander Ortega. And he'll clear him off corner exit. Here comes Dylan Banks, though. Asbell reset to pit road, I think. So did Riley Bennett. All of a sudden, the chaos is starting to heat back up, and we got to throw. Benton's in the wall. Ortega's loose. Here comes Banks. Ortega back around the outside lane. Starting the battle with that 9 car. I think Riley Bennett came to pit road. Connor Asbell is back in the garage, I believe. Another unfortunate day for him if he can't get back going. What a big drive under for Alexander Ortega on Bryce Benton. Slide job will work. And here comes Dylan Banks.
Wide.
Trying to go 3x3 down this back straightaway. The 48 on the inside lane. Can he clear them both? He's there.
Yeah, he does.
Benton sideways. And new leader is Dylan Banks on the 48. He's going to be able to take it. Malone to the inside of Benton. He'll take 3rd place. Here comes Ortega. All over the back bumper of that 48 as they head back into 1. Ooh, trying to slide back up in front of him. What a run around the outside for that 28 of Alexander Ortega as they come up to the lap car, Joseph Lewis.
I think these guys would be racing for the championship, how hard they're racing each other.
Lewis is pitting. So he will come to cycle at pit road. Green flag stop starting to come as the 28, I should say, 82. To actually get the number right, will pit. These four have put on an absolutely insane show all night long for the lead. And we're not even halfway.
And the crazy part is, once we get to halfway, we have another batch of contenders in this race. Matthew White will be caught up. Cameron Chandler will be caught up. Braden Hunsinger will be caught up. So this might become not only a 4-car race for the lead, but try like a 7-car race for the lead.
I mean, everybody, we talked about it all throughout practice. Everybody's so close on pace all night long as we ride along with Jacob Malone. There is Bryce Benson behind him, currently in 4th. Benson's going to try to drive his way down to the inside. When you look at the hands on the 9 of Bryce Benson, he's coming to pit road. Here comes Benson. Green flag pit stop. First of your leaders to pit.
These are on down in there. Be the first one to pit. You'll jump everybody. And it's a perfect time. Short pit. Get your fresh tires on first. Now that the 9 is pitted, this should bring every single person on the pit road. Every single one.
Besides Matthew White. And he may be able to stay out and possibly take the stage victory. Bryce Benson, he's can probably take 4 fresh Goodyear tires here. He's kind of sitting there for a while.
Yep, here comes Ortega and Malone all at the same time.
Banks will stay out.
might have
Miller also
Miller's in.
pitting.
Did Bryce Benson get a speeding penalty?
I don't. He's rolling off
Nope.
now. I don't think he did.
That was a very long stop. Maybe damage repair. That could have been another one.
Yeah, but why
But,
would you?
yeah, exactly. But we don't know. We will have to ask.
Now he has the risk of a yellow. However, if a caution comes out, he's basically cooked.
Fuel
And
only.
He will fall a lap down. Yep.
Fuel only for the 45. I think Ortega did the same thing. Maybe tires. I think the 79 of Miller is taking tires. You do get 3 sets. Maybe gonna save a set with this.
Yeah,
There's-
come get your tires at the end of the stage.
Matthew White's gonna stay out, assume the lead. William Reagan will now be second. Matt Gribe gonna be third. Cole Clausen fourth. Dylan Banks rolling off of pit road. I don't know. Chandler and Hunsicker, I don't think are gonna be able to gain enough. I don't know where they are actually. We're trying to find everybody here. So there is Hunsicker. There's Cameron Chandler, Carlos Ortiz. Here is the 48 of Dylan Banks now rolling off pit road. Back on to the racetrack.
There's Malone.
Malone will
Where's Ortega?
pass
Oh,
his
wow.
teammate.
Big gap to Ortega.
And there's Matthew White trying to put him a lap down, but they're going to be on fresh tires. They should just be able to drive around him.
Oh, they'll blow right by him.
So they will try to unlap
Well.
themselves on Matthew White as they will come to 7 to go to the halfway break this time by.
Man, you do not want to be trapped a lap down, and Matt being the one to stay out and definitely make it. This is going to cause trouble for the people that get trapped a lap down. I think
Yep,
Matt
that
has enough pace to keep everyone behind him a lap down, so that's a big shot in the arm for Ortega, Miller. Who else is on the running list? Benton as well. That's a big shot in the arm for those guys.
Yeah, so top 10 currently, White, Reagan, Grab, Clausen, Tomlin, Hunsicker, Chandler, Ortiz, Malone, and now Banks. Malone, the first one on fresher tires. And now he's starting the battle. Oh, he's in the wall! Big hit. That was a pretty decently sized hit for that driver of the 45. I think he has a bit of damage as well. Gotta be careful
Gotta
of
watch
that.
the wheel damage. Yep, gotta watch that wheel damage. This car can take a beating, but you hit it the wrong way, it's game over for you.
So Malone,
for the big run.
Banks, yeah, Banks to the inside. His teammate looking to battle for 9th place. 8 drivers yet to pit. We may see some of them stay out. Like I don't know who exactly is going to stay out. I think definitely White can. He's probably going to win the stage. I don't think Reagan can. I don't know about Grab if he can. As Banks will take 9th place. Ortega trying to unlap himself here.
Well, we definitely know Matt can make it. I'm pretty sure Matt also can make it as well. Definitely Hunsinger and Chandler. Now, of course, everyone who just pitted as well is going to be able to make it. But Matthew White should lock up the stage here.
But how is this going to work out? Because Ortega, I would assume, would pit at the end of the stage. Same thing with White, he would get the free pass, but then drivers behind him, if you didn't take tires there, you would have to, I don't know how this is going to work out. With the Benton is one of them. I think he took tires, though.
Yeah.
Same thing with Miller. Oh! Ortega
hold
is
on to it there.
sideways, and he's nearly spinning. He will save it.
He was trying desperately to unlap himself. He knew how important that was. He'll still get the free pass, it looks like, unless Matt passes anyone else. But, yeah, that was... He's trying his best to unlap himself. And that was... You're looking at people like the 23 of Bennett. If Ortega got around him, Bennett would have been the first car lap down. So it would have... The free pass would have went to him. Yeah, this is interesting for sure.
Joseph
Yep,
Lewis.
Ortega, I mean, doesn't matter if he's the lucky dog because he would have to start on at the end of the longest line and have to pit with lap car, so he would be cooked anyways.
Yeah, pit lane closed 2 laps ago.
It's going to be really interesting. Obviously, everybody would have pitted if we don't have that early caution flag around lap 8. That was the only yellow we've had so far tonight. So he goes to the stage.
Yep, and that caution alone was exactly what made people like Matthew White that are able to come around to this last corner, reach the white flag in stage 1, and cruise to a nice 10 points stage win.
Final lap of the stage is underway. Cameron Chandler didn't want to see this, of course. Matthew White and him are in a somewhat of a regular season battle for the regular season championship. It's about 35 points separating them two, and this will extend it for Matthew White as he heads down the back straightaway. For the final time, he's actually starting to catch Malone here.
That's bad news for people like, well, that'd be Ortega. Ortega's hoping Matt doesn't pass Malone here. It looks like he won't.
Green and white checkered flag. Matthew White's going to win the stage. Second will come up right for the top 3. Second, Reagan, and third going to be Max Grab as well. Of course, throw the stage caution because they're so spread out. All right. Caution is out. Stage break here in Chicagoland. This is going to be interesting under the halfway break to see if anybody waves around. I mean, if you took, I'm assuming Miller, Benton, I'm going to think they wave themselves around because they kind of have to.
So I think the goal here for everyone that's going to do a wave around is for people, well, Ortega will be able to have the free pass, so he'll have it, but people Bennett on back that are a lap down, the goal for them is to unlap themselves, do a wave around right, and then hope there's a very, very early caution, maybe like 5 to 10 laps. Then they're able to come in, get their fresh tires, and be on the same playing field as everybody else. If they don't, and this thing goes long, they are in trouble.
So White will catch the back of the pace car. Going to be very interesting strategy on pit road as we welcome you to the halfway break here from Chicagoland. Matthew White running pretty low on fuel pressure, I'm assuming. So he should be coming right to pit road this time by.
And it's nice to have a big gap to second. You don't even have to worry about having a very competitive pit stop. You can just roll in there like normal. We got a spinner on the backstretch, but under yellow here.
Oh, it's Joseph Lewis. And he has big damage on that 82.
Yeah, big damage. I'm not sure what happened there. I have to look at it, but
look after the pit stops.
Yeah, as you see, Matt, I mean, just look how far the difference is between Matthew and Mac there. Matt's not even going to have not even have to worry about getting in his box.
Benton's pitting. That's shocking. He's going to be a lap down
really
here.
Interesting.
What is? I don't know what the strategy is.
I don't know what's going on here.
I think he took tires at least.
Not sure.
I think he did. I mean, it wouldn't really make sense not to. But as Malone is gonna, he also had to pit, but he was on the lead lap anyways. Same thing with Dylan Banks. So interesting stuff going on here.
It looks like Bennett, Miller, and the 09 of Butler, they're all going to stay out and get their wave around. So they're going to really hope that there's an early caution in this stage.
Yeah, Bryce is probably betting for a yellow, because if a yellow doesn't come out, his race might be over here on lap 70.
Joseph Lewis, of course, with that damage, he's currently in the pits. Riley Bennett behind the pace car first, but these guys have to wave themselves around. William Reagan is being scored your race leader. I think it's still going to be Matthew White will be your leader on the restart, I believe. Might have to extend this by a lap or so because there's still some cars coming to pit road. We still got some things to figure out. still got cars catching, and we only be able to do the choose this time by. So we'll wait one more lap before the choose comes out.
This will give a chance for everyone to bunch up right before the choose.
We are over
But yeah, like I
halfway
said,
now.
here are these players I was talking about. Matthew White's now leading this thing. Matt Grab's in second. Look at Cameron Chandler in sixth now. Hunsicker seventh. They got to take a look. This is going to bring a whole new face to the game here.
And such a big story now. Bryce Benson going to be put one lap down. There's Ortega rolling off here. Joseph Lewis with damage. He will restart a lap down. He's in the free pass position. He's battling with that with McMillan currently. But we only have seen one caution flag so far tonight. So this really puts him in a tough position.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened to the 82 there. I kind of glanced up for a second and saw I was on the backstretch.
We're going to go to the choose real quick, and then we're going to see what happens. Joseph Lewis under caution, so he must. Nobody else has damage, so I don't know if he got hit or not. I'm really not sure what happened, but he had big damage on the back straightaway grass.
I do know that if you downshift, you know, sometimes you can downshift twice on accident, especially if you have paddle shifters. That could have been a big role in that. I've done it a couple times, but you never know. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's go back and see. So this is coming.
Yeah, this would have been it.
He's got Jacob Malone, his teammate, behind him. This is coming to the yellow.
Wonder.
Did he? Oh. Okay.
Ooh, that's race ender right there.
What?
I don't know what that.
I don't know. I think Malone was just kind of behind him there, and then wasn't expecting the checkup so sudden. But that was. Didn't look like he was too sideways, but yeah. Remember these guys like Ashton Miller and Riley Bennett and all of them. They're gonna have to really hope there's a two-car spin or something like that, and then maybe the next 10 to 20 laps or so, just to hold on to the tail end of the field here.
We are gonna restart on lap 73, kind of an extended halfway break. Longer than usual. We're going to see the pace car come back down pit road to get back underway in the second half from the Chicagoland Speedway. Kind of a stack up there on the outside lane by Matt Grab. It'll be the 7 of Matthew White getting away easily. There is Dylan Banks in the second place. He was the one that played that strategy all right. One of the drivers that pitted. Here comes Matt Grab to the inside as well as they head back through 1 and 2. Ooh, Banks already starting to run down White as they head down the back straightaway. Grab back to 3rd place, Malone in 4th. 3 wide for the back, Ortega in the middle. Benton up to the outside as well, still that lap down. Grab nearly working on the inside of Banks.
Person you're going to see slicing and dicing through the field here is definitely Alexander Ortega. Watch out for that 28. He's fast and he knows it.
Here is the 9 of Bryce Benson to the outside of the 77 of Braden Hunsicker, but of course not for position. Benton's still 1 lap down, but he is battling with Ethan McMillan for that free pass spot. McMillan actually not doing a too bad job. Only 1 car behind. 3 wide. Look at Alexander Ortega. Round the outside of Ortiz and Stacy. They're going to get squeezed through 3 and 4. Oh, contact. Maybe a door slam down the front straightaway.
Yeah, Ashton doesn't. I mean, these guys that stayed out for so long and did the wave around, they don't look terribly too slow, which is good news for them. Definitely good news for them.
Cameron Chandler breaking inside of the top 5 for the first time all night long. How about Eli Tomlin on the bottom, currently running in 6th? Oh, look at Bryce. Oh, we got a car sideways.
Oh, careful,
that's
boys.
McMillan.
Careful, boys.
He's wrecking.
Oh, yeah,
big hit into the wall.
There we
Caution.
go. So those guys, yep, this is going to help those guys that unfortunately had to take the wave around there. Oh, actually, one of them got involved in that.
09 of John Butler. You got Riley Bennett through the grass as well. It all starts with Ethan McMillan going around, bringing out the 3rd caution flag of the night, 2nd for cause. Let's see what happens. I think he lost it all by himself. Looks at it. Oh yeah, hit the bump. Yep.
Yep. The bump has claimeth their first victim.
Oh.
Tried to save it. Overcorrected. Ooh, 09 gets in there last second.
Let's look here. John Butler. He almost made contact Another car blending back onto the racetrack.
Yeah, you're going to see it land right in his lap.
Bryce Benson just said it in the chat. He's saved by the bell. And this is going to really put him back on the lead lap. Should put him in contention with this win yet again. Probably some of the first good luck Bryce Benson's had all season, I feel like. Or not all season, but in his career, honestly, at this point.
And something we also need to take a look at is we watched ahead of them. Look how tight they were 3 wide. That was almost like a wreck. You see, camera got loose there for a second. Maybe the caution saved that wreck from happening, but it looked like they were getting ready to wreck up there, really tight 3 wide. But the wreck happens in the back.
Yeah, of course. As we got cars pitting, this is going to make things very interesting yet again. Someone stayed out.
Yep.
It was Benson.
Someone learned their lesson.
So everybody going to be mostly on the same strategy, I'm assuming. So they come to pit on lap 78 in Chicagoland. Kind of the same kind of deal here. Caution coming out maybe about 10 laps into the half. Or it's only fuel only. Battle off pit road. It's going to be Matthew White on Dylan Banks. Third going to be Matt Grab. Fourth, Braden Hunsicker. Fifth going to be the 45 of Malone. As they roll off behind him. Eli Tomlin stayed out. So did Cole Clausen. They're going to actually hold on to the race lead. If they don't pit here, this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I talked to both of them before the race started. Eli said that he would love to have a top 10 and leading the race, and then Cole Clausen said this is one of his better tracks, so he's looking for a top 5, and here those guys are right at the halfway, first and second.
As of course, like we mentioned, under the half, or not under the halfway break at Chicagoland. We're over the halfway break now. First yellow flag is out. Clausen is pitting. Oh, so does Tomlin. Or Stacey. I don't know what's going on there, but coming to the choose this time by.
Yeah, well, those guys will have more fuel than that. No, so we'll see.
Here we go, coming to the choose. It's going to be inside for both Banks and White. Banks.
And when you're the leader, doesn't matter what line you're in. If you're the leader, you get such an advantage on these restarts.
It almost looked like for a second Banks maybe forgot to choose or something because he was, I don't know. I don't think he did, but it could have been a possibility.
Well, you start in third, most likely you're a guaranteed second at a turn 2. Unless the guy on the top can really, really predict when the leader's going to go, and one of the best people at that in this league is ironically starting first here. So definitely have to see how this restart goes. That is for sure.
Yeah, this should be interesting towards the front of the field. Stream quality should have probably improved. Had to switch over to a new network again real quick, but we should have a better connection coming up for forever.
And this is exactly what I was talking about. Look at the top 6 here lining up for this restart. Look who's all up there. Top 7. This is the exact 7 fighters I was talking about. Let's see how they do.
All right, we're going to be restarting on lap 80 here from Chicagoland Speedway. Back underway yet again. Great restart for that inside lane. And Banks is clear on the 53 of Matt Grab. He's going to almost be swallowed up. He got the 28 of Alexander Ortega to the outside lane. There's that 77 of Braden Hunsicker down low. And 3 wide. Oh, there goes the 53 around.
Oh, boy, there goes Mac. Hold on to her there, Mac.
Through the grass.
Same spot. Same spot as lap 1. Oh, that was for Braden Hunsicker, but...
Oh!
Man.
Ortiz sideways.
Oh, boy,
spinning
here we go.
Ahead of the pack.
In front of the
Reagan
field.
in the wall. No
Wow, how did Bryce
caution.
get through that?
No caution, I don't think. Stay green.
Yeah, no.
Stuck up to
Spin the
21
back.
votes.
Yeah, that's... Keep it green. Keep it clean. Keep it green.
There's Chandler back to the outside, but that kind of breaks up the field as they head down the back straightaway in the 3 and 4 yet again. Cars have been really, like we mentioned, all night long, getting loose over that bump. Put some very, very interesting things up into play tonight. I think this top 8 we got right now are the ones that are going to be all battling. This is a very, very stout top 8.
One of them's going to win. Well, one of these top 8 cars are definitely going to win this race tonight. I have no doubt about it.
Bryce Benson, though, about 1.5 seconds back on 7th place. I think he had the check up on the brakes from William Reagan and Carlos Ortiz there at little accident. Yeah. Side by side. Oh, Huntsicker nearly door slams Cameron Chandler as they head back down the front straightaway into 1 and 2.
Let's everybody pay attention here. Watch the 48. He's going to get passed by a couple people, but he's going to stay within that second gap to the leader. Right around lap 20-25, this is when he'll start to pick him off again. He'll slowly get past. He might even let the 45 go. Yep, there he goes.
That's his teammate, Jacob Malone. And now you got Braden Huntsicker down the back front straightaway. Once again, going to get to his bumper. We'll try to battle for position.
Race with these guys long enough like I have, you just know how they race. Every single one of them. Dylan Banks is one of the best at tire saving. Me and him would always let people past us, and always right around that lap 20-25 mark, that's when we would start passing everyone else.
If I'm hearing right, is Dylan Banks posting? It sounds like he
could be. He definitely could be. Remember, it's everyone's really close here. So, this is how he won the championship, when everyone was really close. He coasted and waited, just like he's doing right now.
Huntsicker way up the racetrack. He's going to get passed by Chandler. Now he's got Benton to his inside battle for 7th. Benton is close way back to the field. He's back into this. He's got Joseph Lewis, who is currently 13 laps down behind him. Benton squeezes his way down in there. Will pass Huntsicker for 7th.
Oh, we got a car stopped on the racetrack.
The 20 out of Ortiz. He's on the apron. What happened to him again being involved? I don't really understand where he came from.
Not quite sure if that was a self-induced spin or not, but he definitely did wreck before and there was no caution, so he might be a little bit upset about that.
I mean, if you're going to spin on your own, then that's going to just even cause more issues for yourself, off track and on track.
Now, another thing you could do to save fuel is kind of do the 5th gear trick. You just keep it in 5th. You're a lot less, using a lot less RPM. Then you can kind of like, once you get to your drafting point down the straightaway, just lift a little bit. Keep the gap the exact same.
Right back in about 30 seconds, have a bit of a commercial break. We got Benton. We're going to go radio style for about 20 seconds here. You got Benton coming around the outside. He's on the outside.
All these guys single file. They're keeping it cool, keeping the tires cool.
Benson
at least trying to.
Benson will clear Cameron Chandler for the looks of it off corner exit. As they head back into 3 and 4 and back down this front straightaway from the Chicagoland Speedway. Action going on. You got Benson coming around the outside on Ashton Miller as they head down the back straightaway. So, of course, we got a big train of cars. White's got about a 0.5 of a second lead. I don't know how hard he's running, though. That's going to be interesting to watch. You got Benson, who is really driving his way up through the field, now to the outside of the 48 of Banks. Banks is getting passed by Ashton Miller, maybe. He is there. Got the 8 of Cameron Chandler on the bottom. Ooh, Banks almost squeezed that 9 of Benton up. Oh, Benton has a bit of a slide, and Miller's in the wall. So they continue to carry momentum around the outside lane. Miller squeezed
another guy
again.
that likes to, another guy that likes to lay in the weeds is that red and white Red Bull car, number 77, Braden Huntsicker. It's the same with Dylan Banks. They just like to lay in the weeds for a little bit, let everyone else do their hard racing, and right at the end, that's when they pass everyone else. That's when they turn it on.
Chandler around the outside of that 79 of Ashton Miller almost made contact with him. Got Ortega trying to find a place in line ahead of the 9 of Benton. The 45 of Malone starting to fall back. He's actually gotten up to second place, but as there is the 8 of Chandler coming around the outside lane.
And of course, if you're Matthew White right now, you love seeing this going on in your mirror. All you gotta do is just save your tires, man. Stay in front of everyone else, let them all race, and you'll take off.
Matthew White, with some strategy, won the stage. He's now up front pretty much legitimately. Here is Malone in the second place. Ortega currently running in third. Will the 45 be able to run down that 7 car?
I'm sure the 45 and the 28 will be able to run them down on the short run. Ortega is definitely a little bit better than Malone on the long run. But it's just a matter of when they get to him and if they can pass him. And if you do pass, how much tire have you burnt off? You know, it's all about save your tires and track position, of course. But you never know with these things. You could be running a line that saves your tires so much better than everybody else. That everyone thinks, okay, yeah, you're burning up your stuff, but as you see, the Dylan Banks to the outside of Miller here.
Banks was falling to 7th place. Miller had a bit of a bobble. Going to elect to pass him here. We definitely know Banks saving, trying to save fuel as well. It's going to be very close. Dylan Banks, we see this a lot. We see him save, but we usually kind of sometimes see him fall too far back. We've seen that now twice at Bristol, especially, where he falls too far back and you really can't do anything at the end of the race. But this is, of course, a lot easier to pass. There is, oh, car sideways.
Oh boy, here we go. That's
Braden Hunsicker.
Nah, I didn't save it.
If he's out of the way, and there's nobody coming.
That bump, man. Gotta watch it.
So we'll stay green. If that was in the middle of the track, caution would have been out. But unfortunately for Braden, he doesn't slide in the middle of the racetrack. So we will stay green here in Chicagoland.
Now again, as the run continues, everyone's tires get burnt out. Your right rear tire starts to get burned off. A lot of people look like they're loose. When you hit that bump, if you have any throttle applied to it at all, you are going to go for a long spin, or at least a long slide.
Here is Cameron Chandler coming around the outside. He's got momentum in the 9 of Bryce Benson. He'll pull it down to the inside. Battle for 4th place. 2 Chevrolets from Team Chevy Motor Club. Oh, car stopped in the, what is this? Okay. Caution gonna come out. Ortiz again.
I don't know, that might be a little egregious to me. We'll have to look. We'll have to see what happened to him, but nice, spun out by himself again.
Is it
Or
over
that
the
bump,
bumps?
yep. Yeah, so the bump unsettles your car, and then you know, I mean, at least he kept it up against the wall and didn't, you know, fly down in front of the leaders. I mean, he's by himself completely, but gonna hit the bump right about here. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, luckily for him, he wasn't on the gas to spin the car around or anything like that. So it didn't look too like.
He's definitely keeping the wheel to the left here, so the back end of the car stays up to the top. So he's trying to stay out of the way best he can. But again, well, guess what? No more fuel saving for these guys. They can run it hard. If I was Matt or Malone or any of these guys up front, I'd be smiling ear to ear, because now we race. Now we run the competitive side of things.
We haven't seen this a whole lot, especially in the Cup Series this season, where we get these late race cautions. I feel like it's been a while. Had a lot of longer runs to the end where their tire saving and fuel saving is a big thing. For fresh Goodyear tires, fuel.
This is definitely that part of the run where you're gonna go green, and everyone that thinks, okay, yeah, my tires won't fall off as bad, I can run it as hard as I can, they actually will, because we still have, it's lap 98 of 134, so we still have a little over 30 laps to go, so it still kicks in. It's just at this point, right? You like if the Dylan Banks thing, how he falls back too far, doesn't have enough time. This is when he wouldn't have enough time to make it back. So you have to still save your tires, but also push at the same time.
Matthew White loses 2 spots on pit road, back to 3rd, and then Alexander Ortega is going to assume the lead from all of this. That could be a little. It's not going to be the biggest deal ever, but it could be a little bit big.
Now, all these competitive guys up front, they know if they still have a set of tires left, if we run, 25 laps and there's a caution that comes out and everyone pits, every single person in this field, the competitive guys, they all know 2 tires is the strategy. You will lose this race if you take 4 tires with like a couple laps to go restart.
Some cars still on pit road cheering McMillan there, I think, been sitting there for a while. As they came to the choose, it's going to be Ortega on the bottom, alone on the outside. Row number 2 will consist of Matthew White and Cameron Chandler. You got Banks and Benton, row number 3. All right, this is where it gets interesting. Like Showtime said, going to be, I think, just a hard run to the end. Maybe you're going to see maybe a bit of tire saving, but at most it's going to be a 35-lap run.
Just a little bit. You don't gotta save enough. You don't gotta save a lot. Not like earlier. But you definitely do gotta save. So people like Ashton Miller, this suits them. Bryce Benton, this suits him. You take a look at people like Malone. All these guys that do that like medium run. These guys are gonna shine here. Dylan Banks, gotta step it up on pace. Not that he's slow. It just can't do the traditional save your tires, get everyone back later. It's time to go.
We are going to restart on lap 100 from Chicagoland. What a great jump by the 28 of Ortega. He is gone on both the 45 of Malone and that 7 of Matthew White.
And he caught everybody lacking on that restart pretty much.
White down to the inside. He'll try to slide back up. He's going to get cleared by the 45 at Chandler on the wall spit. So did Bryce Benton. Benton now gets cleared by Dylan Banks as they head back down the back straightaway. Over the bumps, you can see just how bad it is. Everybody just bumping around. Big run around the outside. Here comes Benton. He is nearly clear on Dylan Banks, who can't be waiting around too much longer. Benton he was really flying in one of these earlier runs. Oh, he's in the wall slightly. But he's going to get there on Cameron Chandler. Here comes the 9, a huge run, and maybe for the lead, here comes Malone.
Holy crap.
Look at Benton.
That 9 car is hauling to the front, man.
He's already up to 3rd at a huge side draft by Matthew White. He's going to clear the 7. 3 wide further back.
He's still going.
To the inside. Oh, Macrabb slides up the racetrack. There's the 79 of Miller. He's in the wall.
Careful.
There's the 90 of Tomlin as well. Now the 9
Watch
of Benton.
this 9 car right here. Look at him.
Bryce Benton, he knows he's going for it. Trying to get that first career victory. For 2nd place on Jacob Malone. He's there, looking to take it.
Man, he's driving it like he stole that 9 car. Holy mother.
He's clear.
Look at him. He's still going.
And maybe for the lead. Here he comes.
He's going to get him.
Bryce Benton on Alexander Ortega. Side by side for the top spot.
Dude said, head down, I'm going. And he's going to take his line away. Look at that.
Ooh.
Careful doing that.
Barely.
Yeah, he got him.
Oh, he gets loose.
Oh, he's loose.
Oh, way up the racetrack.
Hang on to it.
And here comes Malone and Ortega. They're nearly 3 wide.
Here comes Chandler.
Ortega's going to clear them. Where's the 8 going to go? He may go 3 wide for the lead. He'll think better of it, and he'll slide back up there. Oh, your leader, sideways. Here comes Malone.
Man, he's got that thing wound up. Holy, dude, this race is insane. I knew as soon as these guys got up to the front, it was gonna be a great race. Here we go.
Ortega falls back. Now to 6th. He got loose. They're side by side for 2nd place. Here's Chandler to the inside of the 45.
You got Cameron and Matthew White working together here. They're gonna try and methodically get past everybody else, but that 9 car is a force to be reckoned with. He's gonna get him one, that's for sure.
Chandler slides up the racetrack nearly to the door of that 45 of Malone. Benton has about a 2/10-second lead. You got Matthew White there as well. Malone trying to clear Chandler off corner exit. He slides up the racetrack once more, and he is clear now for 2nd place. And Ortega coming back around the outside lane. He isn't done either. He's clearing Matthew White, and he's back to the inside of his team motor, Cameron Chandler.
You got so many people up here looking for their first win. You got Benton, Malone, Ortega all up here, all looking for their first win. Could this be the day for any of them?
You got Chandler with 4 career Cup victories, and then the veteran, all-time Cup wins leader, Matthew White, currently in 5th with 16 career victories.
You think you win 16 times. You've seen so many of these races play out in your favor. Is this another one where Matthew White is now waiting in the weeds and waiting to see if everyone else burns up their stuff.
Bryce Benton, your leader, currently second. Jacob Malone running third. Solidly in P3 is the 8 of Cameron Chandler. Back to fourth, the 28 of Alexander Ortega. Looking to finish one of these out, and currently running P5 and P6, Matthew White, Dylan Banks. These two had such a good battle in the championship last season, and it all came down at the end of it. It was Dylan Banks, your Season 3 Cup Series champion. Under 30 laps to go in Chicagoland. This has been a thriller all day long, and it's not over yet. This thing's still wide open with the top maybe 6 or so cars for the race win tonight.
And you take a look at it, the top 9 are all within 1.4 seconds of the leader. Look at this pack. It's not necessarily a pack at the train, but it's all so tight. And they know what's up here.
Alexander Ortega looking to drive around Cameron Chandler. He is clear for third place. Matthew White as well.
These guys know it's go time. They really got to put it in the weeds. Bryce Benton knew it on that restart. Now he's in the lead trying to save his tires. That's a good strategy too if you do it right.
Cameron Chandler loses 2 spots in 1 lap. He's back to 5th. Now we'll have Dylan Banks coming. You got Matthew White car. Oh, we got a car getting loose. It's Eli Tomlin, it looked like. Braden Hunsaker trying to split him. Tomlin was inside of the top 10, having an absolutely phenomenal day. But doesn't want to fall back any further. Here is White now starting to battle with Ortega, but Chandler not giving up though. Ooh, Ortega looks like he may have gotten tight.
Loose.
Oh, he's got a big block on the 7. Well, no really any respect there for a Cup Series regular on the Xfinity Series regular. Coming back to 25 to go this time by Ortega's in the wall.
Yeah, knowing Matt, he isn't going to take too kindly to that. Watch him run Ortega up on the exit right here. Matt doesn't like late blocks like that.
White's going to get back in line, but he's trying to send it back into the inside. Ortega, this is where he has been so good all day long on the wall. And he clears Matthew White.
I think he just saw what Bryce did on that restart and just trying to recreate it. That was magical for the 9-car leading right now.
Still, Jacob Malone about 3/10 back on Bryce Benton. Running third, that 28, Alexander Ortega. 4th place, still Matthew White battling with Cameron Chandler.
Again, we saw this in the finish of Fontana. Bryce Benton is not going to let you go for the race win. He's one of the hardest people to pass when he's in the lead. He is not going to let Malone, he isn't going to let Ortega, he isn't going to let anybody have this. If you're going to pass him, you're going to have to move him or do something, because that 9-car will go the whole width of the racetrack to block you.
Running currently in 6th is Dylan Banks. He's had a kind of a quiet restart as of late. Then you got 7th place, the 77 of Braden Hunsaker. 8th right now is Ashton Miller. Look at this battle. Ash Stacy is in the wall. He's currently running 11th, right around where he wanted to finish. Battling for 10th place with the 09 of John Butler. John Butler, we've seen him throughout the season, been so methodical throughout the field. Been really been solid all season long. Currently runs inside of the top 10. Cole Clausen right now in 12th. Eli Tomlin back to 13th and falling. William Reagan actually repaired some of his damage. Currently runs in 14th.
This is that part of the run where last race at Chicagoland, when I was running Braden Hunsinger down, actually, I got within that certain distance, and everyone was single file, and you couldn't do anything. Oh, hang on to it, Stacy. Hang on, buddy.
Stacy in the wall hard. Big
that's
hit
not
down the
good
front
for him.
straightaway.
That's big damage. He hit that wall a ton. But no caution. You kept it straight. That's what the leaders wanted to see. As the leader, you want to see this run green. If you're gonna, you want to have a nice green race.
Bryce Benton.
Hang on to it there.
Bryce Benton, an issue. I think
sideways.
he got loose.
Yep. That's another thing with that is if you're gonna pass Bryce, you gotta wait for him to make a mistake, and there it is. Ortega sideways now.
Here comes Matthew White to the inside. Malone will take the lead for all. Oh, what is Ortega doing? Oh my God, what a block on the end of Chandler.
Right here.
That's his car, Cameron Chandler. And here comes Dylan Banks.
That was not good from the 28 there. Cameron's not gonna be happy with that.
In the line goes the 48 of Banks to the inside now. I don't know where Stacy is. I think he's coming to pit road. If I had to imagine.
Is this going to be where Malone runs away with it? Or is Matthew Whitehead enough tire to pass Bryce really fast and run down Malone?
18 laps to go. Ortega on the outside. Chandler trying to follow in line. Then he got that 48 of Doe. You got Chandler on the wall. Pretty good hit there. Still battling with that 48 of Banks.
Good. After that slide, Bryce Benton has not really lost a bunch of time to Malone.
Still about 0.5 of a second. White has been on his bumper. Can Bryce Benton try to reel back in that 45 of Malone? Still, look at the side-by-side action. Here we go for the final spot inside of the big spot. Oh my God, I can't talk. Big slide for the 79 of Miller. Final spot inside of the top 5 is between the 48 of Banks and the 8 of Chandler.
Going at it. Got to get all you can. Points are on the line here in 17 laps. 16 now.
Hunsicker also door-to-door with Ashton Miller. Benton's trying to drive back away on Matthew White. Ooh, nearly the wall.
Benton's driving the wheels off that thing, man. He's catching him a little bit here, but I don't know. Once you get in that dirty air, it's so hard to gain time.
But will Malone make a mistake?
Yeah. But to Benton's advantage here, Malone doesn't really like to wrap that bottom, it seems like, all race. It's not been a strong suit. See, he leaves that lane open, and that's allowed Bryce to catch.
15 laps to go.
Yeah, caught him by a
he's
10th
loose.
that time.
Malone had a big slide. Ortega, don't give up on him just yet. I know he had that moment, but he's still trying to drive his way back up to the field. He's there on the bumper of the 7 of White. This thing is still wide open for who could get to victory lane tonight. Chandler now back to the inside of his car. And Ortega's really the only one I've really seen been ripping the fence in this run. And it is beginning to maybe start to work. Banks now actually getting freight train around the outside. Back to 7th on Ashton Miller. He'll now be pressured by the 77.
Yep, this isn't looking good for the 48 here. I know towards the end of the race he'll start picking them off, but does he have his 14 laps enough time to pass all these cars?
White following in the tire tracks of the 9 of Benton. You got Ortega all on the wall. Look at Ashton Miller. He's starting to come on strong.
Yeah.
The long run pace really hasn't been a strength for Ashton all day long. Here comes White. He had a really good corner. He's on the bumper of that 9. And he's going to maybe try to pull to the inside.
You're White. You got to pass Benton now. You can't wait. Any more laps you stay side by side, Malone's just going to screw away with it.
He's going to fall back in line there on the 9.
Matt knows it. Ortega knows it. If Matt loses a spot here at the 28, he's not going to win. Yep, there he comes.
And he lost momentum. Ortega now back around the outside lane. You don't get as good as a run off turn 4 as you do off turn 2, but he's still got a pretty decently sized run. He'll pull it to the outside. Battle now for 3rd place. He's going to squeeze him. Ortega's going to try to even run higher than Matthew White.
Now Malone up on the wall. They realized that these guys were catching him, and now you got to be careful doing that though. You can't. You get in such a rhythm. You get in such a rhythm on the bottom. You run the top. It's going to be completely different. As now Bryce Benton 2/10 off the lead.
He had a bad corner for 3 and 4. Oh!
Malone was sideways. Hang on to it, buddy.
Coming to 10 to go. That 45 was completely loose. And now Benton trying to close in. Look at Ortega on the back bumper of the 7 of White. He's going to give him a bump.
Oh, hang on to it, Matt.
Up the racetrack goes Matthew White. And around he goes. Ortega goes to 3rd. And
here we go.
Battle for the lead is up front between Bryce Benton and Jacob Malone.
There's that line. Bryce is going to get him, man. He's going to get him.
Malone has been out front the most laps tonight, I believe. But here comes Bryce Benton. He's been so close so many times for that first win. With 9 to go, he's battling with it with Jacob Malone.
On the top. That's what he wanted.
Oh, the 45!
Sideways.
Saves it. Yes, he does. But his race for the win is over.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Bryce Benton has to hold on for 9 laps. Can he do it?
Ortega to second, White to third. Will there be any payback with Matthew White and Alexander Ortega? How about Ashton Miller to fourth?
Ashton Miller, man. I don't know. I feel like Miller's done that perfect thing where you push enough but still save your tires. I think Miller has a chance.
8 to go.
Bryce has been really ripping the top. Right rear must be burning. Ortega, same thing. He went for a big slide, and Matt went for a big slide. The only person I haven't seen go for a half spin really is the 79.
Yeah, Ashton Miller was still looking for that first career victory. He's been another driver so close so many times. 7 to go, though, in Chicagoland. This thing not over yet. Matthew White looking to the inside on the 28 of Ortega. Ortega gonna run that top. Ooh, White has a big slide.
That might have helped him through the corner a little bit.
He's gonna get to the back bumper of the 28 of Ortega. Ortega may be starting to run down the 9 of Benton as well.
I'm gonna tell you, if Bryce learned last time, you can't slide off a turn 2. You gotta keep your car straight there. And I'm gonna tell you, if that 28 gets to the 9, that 9 is going to be a brick to pass. It's gonna be a brick wall the whole time.
6 to go. Malone closing the gap on Bryce Benton. Both these guys looking for their first career wins. But the thing is here, Bryce Benton in his second full-time Cup season. Alexander Ortega, he's a full-time Xfinity driver, has been so good over there. He's in his first ever Cup start. I believe he's looking to be maybe the third ever driver to win in their first Cup start, joining Aiden Walker and Aiden Donahue, 2 of the most all-time winners in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. They're second and third on the all-time list. White also closing up. 5 to go.
If you're Cameron and Ashton here, you work together. As I say that, and Cameron goes to pass Ashton, but you guys should have worked together there for at least maybe a lap. You would have been able to get up there. Now you guys are going to fight, lose time, but the race is on for the lead. These top 3 are going to go at it.
4 laps to go in Chicagoland. Battle is on for the win in Chicagoland. Here comes the 28 of Ortega. Looking to the inside on the 9 of Benton. For the top spot, Benton slides.
Oh, yeah.
Where's White gonna go? The 7, he'll pull it outside. Benton blocks him in the wall. Ortega out of the bottom of the racetrack. He's gonna send it down in there. He will clear Bryce Benton. 3 laps to go in Chicagoland. Benton's not giving up. He's still coming. Trying to pull it back to the outside.
Does he move him? Trying something, trying anything. Ortega up top. Benton's going to draw even. It looks like, nope. Ortega's going to get that momentum off the top.
Alexander Ortega clear on Bryce Benton with 2.5 laps to go. Benton trying to fight him back.
Man, if Benton's anywhere close to that back bumper, you know he's going to use it. He's been looking for this first win for so long.
He needs it. He has been so close so many times, but they both have the driver that has won the most FedEx Cup Series races in history on the bumper, and Cameron Chandler is starting to close as well. The back bumper, the 28 comes out.
Ortega got loose. Here it is. You watch this. If the 9 is this close on the last lap, you're going to see a bump. I promise you.
Coming to the white flag.
Here we go.
1 to go in Chicagoland. Final lap underway. 3-way, maybe 4-way battle for the win. Through 1 and 2 they go. Benton on the inside lane. Ortega still trying to wrap around the outside lane. But did Ortega get tight? He hit the wall.
Yep, here it is. Here we go. Watch this. Watch this. Here we go.
Final time. Final set through 3 and 4. Benton trying to set it down in there. Off turn 4. Ortega in the wall. Benton trying to get one more final run. It's not going to happen. First start. First win. Alexander Ortega gets it done in Chicagoland. What a race.
Yeah, Matt's not happy. Matt's not happy. Oh, yeah.
What a day. What a race. First career win. It's Alexander Ortega. And Matthew White not pleased.
You got to think back to when Ortega moved him out of the way there and got him sideways. You wonder if that was the killer for Matt to actually get up there and battle because of the right rear being too burnt out there. But nonetheless, amazing drive from the 28. You gotta feel for the 9 though, Bryce Benton. He raced so hard. He was on a mission all night and just came up 1 spot short again.
What a day. Unreal. Gotta catch my breath after that one. What a
You gotta
race.
catch up on everything.
This is the third time a driver has won in their first ever Cup Series start. Like I mentioned, joining Aiden Donahue and Aiden Walker. That's some impressive company. We got of course, Aiden Donahue in the booth with us tonight. Some impressive company to be in.
Hey, and this guy's name is Alexander, so it must be an A name thing.
Triple A, all going to victory lane in their first ever start. 3 A's. What a day for Alexander Ortega. He's been so close in the Xfinity Series. Just, it really hasn't worked out to perfection there. But tonight in the Cup Series, it's his night. He wins in Chicagoland in an absolutely thrilling race all around. That was one to remember all day long.
I was on the edge of my seat all race, even when it was strung out there. I mean, these guys really put on a clinic of a race. Really put on a big fight all race long, and to the victor goes the spoils, of course. And Alexander Ortega is definitely feeling the spoils right now as he blew it up.
Bryce Benton, though, heartbreaker, second place
Ugh,
in Chicagoland.
man,
And
what does he got to do?
I
What does
know.
he have to do?
The amount of times he's been so close is going to be coming up short yet again. And he will finish second.
And look at the people he beat. Matthew White, Cameron Chandler, Dylan Banks, all finished directly behind him.
Those three are NASCAR iRacing FedEx League champions. Two of them, White and Banks, have won a cup title. And yeah, it's just such a insane race in Chicagoland. I mean, it was wide open all the way throughout of it. I had no idea who was going to victory lane throughout any part of tonight's race until they came down the front straightaway for the final time.
You got to think though, if Benton didn't get loose after he passed Malone after that maybe would have been a different story. But you could say if all the time. You can say that word if, but didn't happen.
Thank you, Chicagoland. What a day for tonight, as post-race interviews will be coming up from the Chicagoland Speedway, as we'll have interviews coming up here from Chicagoland. First up, going to be, of course, your winner, Alexander Ortega. Aiden, do you want to join me in the interviews booth?
Of course.
Do you want to do, like, the second question?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
All right. As we welcome you live to the post-race show here in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. What a day from the Chicagoland Speedway. That was one we will probably never forget. Coming up first with post-race interviews is going to be Alexander Ortega. And he is your winner in his first career start. Alexander Ortega. It's an absolutely massive day for you guys. First start, first win. You become the third driver in Cup Series history to do that. You join ours truly, Aiden Donahue, and then Aiden Walker to do that. Both those are tied with the second most ever wins in the Cup Series, but you had the battle for it. What a battle all day long with Benton, White, Chandler, Banks, all of them throughout the race. What was it like battling in those final closing laps, taking the lead away from Bryce Benton with about 3 laps to go and being able to hold on to that after such an insane day all night long?
I don't know what to say. I love this racetrack so much, so much. It's such a fun track. It's definitely different with the recent update to the next gen. Those bumps are a whole lot worse, and I learned that the hard way a few times. But man, I mean, you can run kind of wherever you want on either end of the racetrack, especially in 1 and 2. I mean, gosh, ripping the fence it's just a blast. And I knew if I got a long enough green flag run, I'd be in a really good spot. And that caution came out with about 34 laps to go, and I had been riding in third, kind of saving a little fuel. We were kind of right on the number to make it. And the caution came out, and I was like, okay, it's not great, but it's not terrible. And just an amazing pit stop to get to the lead, and then made a few mistakes on that final run with the bumps, especially in 3 and 4, but battled back. didn't want to have to move Matthew out of the way, but he was blocking me really hard down the front stretch every time I had a big run on him, and so I had to just get past him because I mean he just wasn't really going anywhere. But yeah, really, really excited, really happy, and I hope we put on a pretty good show for those watching.
Right, and brother, this is your first race. Just recently seen you in all the FedEx chats and stuff like that. You mentioned the bumps all night long. I was noticing that too. When I raced last season, the bumps were manageable. They weren't like terrible, but it seemed like, man, yeah, that thing yawed out like you're on a dirt track, dude. A lot of these guys did. How were you able to just hold on to that thing, man? Like five of you were like sideways all together at one point, and amazing to see, of course, but. Dude, how were you able to hold on to that?
I don't really know. The next gen's weird with having to save it. It's so easy. I mean, we saw it a few times, I think, during the race, a few guys who would get loose and overcorrect. And so really if you get loose like that, you don't turn the wheel right. Is kind of what I feel like I've learned. You don't really turn the wheel right, and if you absolutely have to, just lock the brakes and it'll kind of straighten itself back out. But I mean, it was really, really just fun to drive loose. The bumps in 3 and 4 made it difficult because you can't really run as all over the track as you want to. Like go back like a year ago from now, I would have been running there in the late run all the way up on the fence in 3 and 4, and the bumps would help rotate the car. But now
Right.
it's just so sketchy that it gets it way out of control. So
So, of course, huge congratulations to you, Alex, on this massive first Cup Series win for you guys. It should definitely help you with the momentum heading into Michigan for the Xfinity Series, and have fun celebrating this one. And we will see you from Michigan next week in the Xfinity Series car.
you guys so much. Looking forward to it.
All right. Coming up next is going to be Bryce Benton. Yet another one. So close, but of course, so far at the same time for the driver of the 9. Bryce Benton, another one. You were in prime position for this win tonight. Unfortunately, you get past about 4 laps to go. You tried to battle with Alexander Ortega. Just take me through what you were going through, handling-wise and whatever, in those final closing 10 laps.
Yeah, I definitely wanted that clean air, and that was definitely helping. But I felt like the car was also a lot looser in the clean air. So yeah, Ortega was able to catch up. He was honestly a little bit better than me on the long run. I was still good though, so I knew I'd still have a shot. After he got around me, it's just gonna be a really tough task, especially with the air blocking and all that stuff. You know, with the new next gens. But yeah, I, I, I don't think there's much more I really could have done. I could have maybe just sent it in deeper to get Ortega, but I didn't really want to. I didn't really want to win it by just like wrecking him. So I don't know. I wanted to be clean about it, and unfortunately, that just didn't really pay off. And yeah, I wish we could have got the win, but I guess we have next week. I guess. Yeah.
Well, as much as all of us racers respect the don't throw it in like Austin Dillon and kill everyone, buddy, what do you gotta do to get one, man? Like, look at Auto Club, you're leading and holding on to your life. This one, dude, you drove through that pack like a man on a mission. You had some sort of nitrous in your car passing all those good drivers like that, and you just drove right to the front. And even when you got passed by Malone, you didn't even let him escape. Of course, he got loose and you got by him, but man, what do you gotta do?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to just get aggressive about it, and just hopefully I'll be in the right place at the right time, and I don't know. It's just gonna take a matter of that, and also just trying to be maybe a little bit more aggressive and just all that stuff. And I maybe should have sent it a little deeper on Ortega. Just I feel like if I did, I might have hooked him, and then that could have also ended my race too. So I don't know. I mean, P2 is still good, but hopefully we can get to P1 soon.
Yeah,
All right.
man.
All right, Bryce. Well, still a great job on the run here tonight. Still another great points day for you guys. So close, though, to that first career victory. But we'll see you next week in Michigan for race number 10 of the year.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. Like once again, just such a close moment there for the driver of the
Mm.
nine, Bryce Benton. Yet again, so close to another win, but he'll have to wait at least one more week.
Let's say how many doors you got to knock on, man.
I know. The only races he's won in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League, I think he won a lobbies race at Texas that was like with 3 cars back like months ago. He also won not even like he won an LMP2 race, I believe, in lobbies as well. He won the All Star Race Open, and I believe that's it. Like Bryce Benton has been so quick, and that's all he has to show for it for in the wins column.
Yeah, you definitely take a look at how he was last season, and it was like you said, average running position of what around 10th to 5th usually, and now he's consistently racing for wins, and so he's definitely taken a big step up there, and that's a good chip on your shoulder to have. But man, I know how it feels to just have so many wins slip away from you, and doesn't matter if it's a league, an official race, it gets to you, and you really want that one back. But he's gonna want this one back for sure. But man,
Yeah, Bryce Benton comes home P2. Coming up next in the interview booth is going to be John Butler. Ultimately, we'll finish with an 8th place finish after, so that's 2 top 10 finishes in a row for the driver of the U9. John Butler, solid, quiet day, going to be P8 tonight in Chicagoland. Ultimately, not the worst day for you guys. Still a top 10 finish. You battled through all day long, and ultimately, you guys ran maybe 10th to 15th when I was looking for the most part tonight. Take me through some of the highlights of your day here in Chicagoland.
Um, it was peaceful, I guess. I mean, I was just in the back all day trying to save my tires. Only 3 sets, so I was like, okay, Baron, I'm gonna save my tires, make your job a little easier for right now. So that's what I did. Caution comes out for the stage. I didn't get the pit because I was a wave around car, so I was on old tires. But thankfully, caution came out so I could get my tires. But after that, I was just saving tires, and at the end, I tried to make something happen. I mean, a few little spins right there and here and there, but I was able to bounce back and get eighth place finish, so I'm happy with that.
yeah, you definitely got your dad's definitely finished 8th there, but saw you get caught up into an unfortunate wreck. It basically just landed the 23 landed right in your face. Nothing
Yeah.
you could really do there. But nonetheless, did you have any wheel damage from that? Regardless, an 8th place finish after something like that is something to be happy about.
Surprisingly, I had little to no wheel damage after that. But what happened was my spotter, Baron Cohen Jr., shout out to him, good guy. He had to leave because he was asking me on Discord if he could hear me. I was like, no, I can't hear you. I was like, go leave and rejoin. And as soon as he leave, they saw a crash, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna slow down, go far in the grass. But when he got hit, his wheel kind of turned 90 degrees, so he has like his straight is like 90 degrees, so it kind of just came right into me. I showed at the end of the race, I showed Baron the replay. He was like, "Oh, I would tell you gotta go a little lower, right?" So I was like, "Hey, don't worry about it. It was only like a minute 3 damage. I was able to repair all of it, but was able. Unfortunate, but good thing I wasn't out.
Yeah, that's always one of the things to worry about. You get into a wreck like that, you're like, all right, how many minutes is it, or how many seconds is it going to be? When you see a minute and 3 seconds, like you said, it's like, oh, okay, we're cool.
Yeah, I was telling the VC, I was like, I thought I was like my wheel was broken. I was like, yeah, Baron, we're done, we're done. Don't join back, we're done. But I was able to drive it back because it wasn't making that little broken sound. So I was like, okay, we might still be in this. So it was good.
That's good.
Lucky.
All right, John. Well, nice job getting another top 10 finish. You've been consistent all season long through about the maybe 6th to 8th place runs. So that will, of course, get you closer to the playoffs and get you in a more comfortable position heading next week into Michigan, and we will see you then.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would just like to thank my team owner, Landon Johnson, for signing me. Good guy. I mean, although today he could have used a little more brakes, crashed on lap 7, I think. Didn't slow down for the crash, but hey, thanks for signing me, Landon. I catch y'all later. Good night, everybody.
All right, coming up next is going to be Cole Clausen comes home with another top 10 finish. Cole Clausen, another quiet day for you guys, but still it's a very solid top 10 finish. You saw in the distance all of that insane racing, battling for the lead going on. Ultimately, it is still P10. Just give me your thoughts on some of the things that happened in your day tonight overall, and something you maybe would have changed and something you just enjoyed tonight.
Yeah, I think we definitely could have had a better finish to this race. I think I was running about eighth until Ortiz decided to park it in the middle of the track for whatever reason and bring out a caution. So hopefully he gets some big penalties for that because what he did there was kind of crazy. But um, yeah, I mean we were running eighth when that happened, and then caution came out, restarted, was running same thing about eighth or ninth, and the dirty air was pretty bad, but I tried to get past Matt Grab there towards the middle of that final run there, and got a little bit. He kind of pinned me down track a little bit, got a bit loose underneath him, and yeah, that kind of just cooked my tires there. But yeah, I don't really know how single file racing can be that entertaining, but I guess if it looked good on TV, then I guess y'all enjoyed it. So I didn't really enjoy this race, but we did get a good amount of stage points because we were able to save fuel there at the end. So I'm really happy about that. But yeah, our overall finish here definitely not what we wanted, but hopefully we can come back to one of these intermediates because I feel like intermediates are really my bread and butter, and I can run pretty good at them. But tonight just wasn't really the case.
Yeah, I know you talk about the disappointing top 10 there. Nonetheless, still a top 10, which is pretty decent. A solid top 10 finishes is what everybody wants. Consistency, right? I know we did talk earlier. You said you were going to try and get a top 5. Like you said, you're running eighth. But yeah, just the big topic tonight was just those bumps over the turns 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 there on the bottom. It looked like all of you were like yawed out sideways like you were racing at a dirt track. But how were those bumps?
Oh man, they were really sketchy. I mean, there's one point I got pretty loose off of them and almost spun out, and I know a lot of other guys were having issues with them all day long. So, yeah, they were definitely sketchy. Kind of reminded me of Pocono and the tunnel turn there, just really sketchy through there. But we did get 0 incidents today, so I get a bonus point from that. So pretty happy with that. And not racing at Michigan next week because I got plans on the day before 4th of July, but hopefully we can go. I think the All-Star races after that, and then maybe Charlotte or something like that. I know we'll run good at Charlotte, so really excited for some tracks upcoming here on the schedule.
All right, Cole. Well, still nice job coming home with your second top 10 finish in a row, and of course like you said, you will not be at Michigan, but we will see you for the All-Star race from Rockingham in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, final interview of the night is coming up. It'll be Richard Cherry came home with an early race DNF. Richard Cherry, this is of course the race you were filling in for Pace and Lindsay. You started side of the top 10, top 15 somewhere. Unfortunate though, Joseph Tucker went around in front of you guys right in your lap, and you got absolutely destroyed. And then take you guys out of the race early on, about lap 10. Just take me through your perspective on that early accident.
Try to go to the outside. By the way, first of all, I'm really sorry I left the booth. I was really pissed off, so I couldn't commentate right. So to be mad and maybe trying to hold in some grudge, I'm just gonna quit and try to make the broadcast better by me leaving. So that wreck was just unfortunate. I mean, getting me mad that 5 Xfinity races I get wrecked in 4. Alexander doesn't admit any fault, and he has that win at all costs attitude. So. He knows what's gonna happen if he does that shit to me.
Yeah, so unfortunate that wreck there. You're filling in for Payson. I don't really have you didn't really have much of a race there, unfortunately. I know that's ridiculously frustrating, but right before that wreck happened, though, it looked like you were kind of making some headway there through the field. So those little 7 laps you had, was the car like feeling good? Were you chilling over the bumps, or what was going on there?
Yeah, it's ironic because yesterday in Xfinity I was going all out and I got in that wreck, but I was fortunate that Ortega was there and I got only a minute and a half. So today that I was saving tires and I tried to settle in because I have already a race of experience. I have less experience at other racetracks. So I was just trying to be conservative, be safe, but that wreck happened and I was just unfortunate.
All right, Cherry. Well, still nice job getting in the car, filling in for Pace, and we will also see you next week at Michigan, filling in the 99 car as he serves his 2-race suspension, and you're going to be doing double duty that week with the Xfinity Series and of course the Cup Series on Thursday night. So we'll see you there in Michigan.
Thank you, guys.
And that'll do it here tonight. All right, Showtime. What a race it was all around in Chicagoland. Alexander Ortega pulls it out with about 4 laps to go, passes Bryce Benton, and Benton's going to have to wait yet another week. Ortega, first career victory in his first ever start. What a job well done for him. Any final thoughts on the action we saw on track tonight?
Man, I'm gonna go back to that Cole Clausen interview. I'm not trying to out him or anything, but he said, I don't know how single file racing is exciting. Well, it wasn't. I mean, these guys were 3 wide, ripping the fence, or, smooth on the bottom. I mean, yeah, it was single file when y'all trying to save your tires, of course, but I enjoyed it. For the one race that I've commentated so far, and the versus racing, and I think I was more glad actually to be watching it than racing it, because I had a hell of a time. That was so much fun to watch.
Yeah, there aren't a ton of happy drivers down in the garage
Right.
area after post-race tonight, just to say the least. But we'll move to Michigan next week, and that track has produced absolutely incredible racing in the past. Aiden, you won there last week,
Yeah.
so what do we really expect? I know it's a whole new iRacing update. We're probably going to bring a new setup there as well. Should probably be some new type of racing. What do we really? I know it's kind of too early to tell, but what do we maybe expect next week?
It's not too early. Michigan is basically same. It's the same idea as if you were racing at like Pocono. So you want to get onto the straightaway. If you are not next to the wall in the straightaway, you're going to lose 5 spots easily. The draft there is such a big advantage. The leader, if you save your tires long enough, you'll eventually get away. But you think back to that race last year, I was able to come back from like a 3-second deficit in 15th with like 30 laps to go, and I still smile about it. That pass I made on the front straightaway, passing 4 people, but that only comes with, of course, saving your tires enough and really planning out the run. Unfortunately for me, they were all side by side, so you can do big moves like that, especially if you plan it right. But you'll see them all fan out right before the corner starts. Definitely on the front straightaway.
Yeah, of course, Michigan. We think back to Season 1, what a race that was. Season 2 was fantastic as well. Season 3 didn't disappoint either. And we head there to the Irish Hills next week. Tuesday night for the iCar series, I should say. Wednesday for Xfinity, and Thursday for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series, the final race before the All-Star break. And that will do it here tonight. Alexander Ortega wins in his first ever NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series start. He becomes the 7th winner of the season. And what a day, what a job well done by the Xfinity Series regular. We'll see him full-time, of course, back in the Xfinity Series car next week from the Michelin International Speedway. So that'll do it here tonight from Chicagoland in the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. Alexander Ortega goes to victory lane, and an insane race all day long. That was very hard fought between all your maybe top 7-8 drivers. It was all wide open till the end, and we ended up Ortega on top. First win for Ford as well in season number 4 for the Cup Series. So, on behalf of all officials, drivers, commentators, team owners, everybody involved in making this league what it is, we'll see you from the Irish Hills with 3 days of action starting on Tuesday for iCar, Wednesday for Xfinity, and Thursday for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. So, good night from Chicagoland Speedway.
I'm ready to